Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to World Jenny's Day at USA Global TV and Radio. And we've been going for 4 hours here on this platform. How amazing is that? We've had back-to-back packed entertainment. We've had singing, we've had dancing, we've had circus acts. We've had the launch of World Jenny's Day song, which was amazing. And that is not all. We've got so much more coming up. The end of the day, we are showing some street art that's been done for World Jenny's Day in Los Angeles. And those artists are going to join us at the end of the day. We've got Japan, we've got Ghana, we've got Canada. And in fact, Canada's a very special one too, because as much as Anita Diamond, who sang Jenny's song earlier, was Jenny's friend at school in primary school, from Canada, we've got Bonnie Bird, who was Jenny's friend as a teenager before she died, and she's singing for Jenny. So that is amazing as well. So we're just so delighted to have you back with us and to have you join us as we move on into a very special form of art now. And the lady I'm going to bring up for you to see is VIRA DG. And VIRA and I met in Clubhouse. And wow, she did so much for World Jenny's Day last year. So I'm going to invite first Madalene to come up, because she and I are emceeing together, as I can tell a little bit more about VIRA to you, Madalene, and to our guests as well. So Madalene, VIRA was on Clubhouse when I met her, and I was busy putting together the World Jenny, or not I, that sounds like, wow, no, I certainly didn't do it on my own. We were putting World Jenny's Day art collection on as an NFTs on the blockchain through OpenSea. And I would listen to VIRA, who is a very accomplished artist in her own right outside of the blockchain, talking. And I was so impressed with her and her open heart. And she was from Ukraine, and just amazing. And she very open-heartedly offered to have what they call a drop party, which is where you launch your art on the blockchain, and people witness it and celebrate it, and you share that art, and some people buy and others discuss it, and so on. And we were very privileged at that drop party, because not only did VIRA host that drop party for us in Clubhouse, but we had the United Nations present in that room too. The people who had written or rewritten the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And they'd moved them from being human-centric to nature-centric, because nature will always recover. Man's not so super powerful. And they've rewritten them to that with that stance. And they were sitting in VIRA's room, taking note that World Jenny's Day had affiliated itself to Sustainable Development Goal number 3.4 with the United Nations. And that would not have been possible. By the way, Kev Orkian was there in that launch too. Yeah, he was
really?
There. So yeah, he was there. And so it's been amazing. And I'm not going to take too much more of her story away from her. That's a bit of a backstory, but this lady's been through a lot this year from Ukraine.
Yeah, I was going to say, because from the
NATO.
situation, with Ukraine and that.
So without too much ado, let's call up Vera and give her a very big, warm-hearted welcome. Vera, welcome.
Welcome, Vera.
Woo!
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here to celebrate with you World Genius Day and Mental Health Day. Thank you, Jenetta, for so kind invitation and kind presentation of me. So I'm really happy to share with you second year in a row. It was amazing celebration last year with Clubhouse, as you said, global TV. So I'm very excited.
Oh, we've lost her. Vera, you're breaking up. I wonder if we shouldn't. Let's bring her back. Because we've also lost a little bit of time in our crossover.
Yeah, it's understandable though, all the different kind of connections and everything.
Yes. Anyway, so here she is.
She's coming back. She's coming back, I think.
Vera, we've got about I'd say about 8 to 10 minutes to share your amazing uni museum with everybody. So let's head on into the uni museum. No, her connection's not good enough.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's
okay. So we can't hear you, sweetheart. So I'm going to just give an overview, and let's talk and see if we have a slot later that we can bring you back, if you can get a more secure connection. So I'm going to speak a little bit for Vera on her behalf, unfortunately, because I'm certainly not the oracle she is. Vera, as I mentioned, is an accomplished worldwide artist. When I met her, she had a whole load of amazingly beautiful artwork stuck in Dubai, and she was asking if I knew anybody who could bring it back to the Ukraine. Well, thank goodness they didn't. But she has fled Ukraine, and her artwork is sitting in her house in Ukraine with the windows and doors blown off. So it's been quite a thing. But already
still there?
It's still there. So already before that happening, she was on the blockchain and hosting our launch party. And what Vera has done is she's set up a virtual museum on the blockchain. A virtual museum.
Really? That is amazing.
Yeah. So you can go in. I've got all the here, but I don't want to steal her thunder. I think we must try and find a slot a bit later.
Yes, exactly.
To bring her back, if she can get a more, because she's fled Ukraine and she's in an Eastern European city now.
Yes.
And I should imagine the internet is very compromised there. And so, but to explain a little bit more with the Uni Museum, you go in there virtually. All graphically drawn, and you get in there and you're a little icon on one leg that moves around to all the art, which is actually NFT art, people's NFT art on the walls. Here, Vera's back. Let's see if we can get her. We'll give it one more try, and then we'll have to.
Yay, Vera!
Hello.
Yeah. Welcome.
I hope everything works well right now. We have unstable connection, unfortunately, but I hope you hear me well. So a few words about Uni Museum. After I had to fled from Ukraine, I founded Uni Museum, Universal Museum in Metaverse and beyond for human rights and solidarity. So you can visit it by the link unimuseum.io. And on this museum, we have currently Ukrainian pavilion where we represent Ukrainian artists and their civic position against the brutal invasion of Russia to Ukraine. Today, unfortunately, we had very bad morning. We had 83 missile strike all over Ukraine. And it was a lot, even in the city center of Kiev came some missiles. So I think it's a very important topic, mental health, because my personal opinion that leaders of a terrorist state like Russia, they are mentally unhealthy. So we need to build a health world with all tools we have. So here, as an artist, we are trying to influence the world with our artistic approach, and I hope it will work, right? So on the global level, we have currently on Uni Museum 2 open calls. First open call is to support women in Iran. I must admit that Iran is the second terrorist state. They're supporting Russian aggression a lot, selling them drones, and they are killing women in the Tehran. 2 weeks ago were killed Masha Amini, and then in 2 days started protests and were killed around 140 people and many people injured. So we are making open call for all artists who create their art to support and express solidarity to women in Iran, to submit to our open call. And also we have open call will be open in 2 days to support Ukraine, because we are still on the war and war is going worse. But we have belief in our heart that Ukraine will win and democracy and human rights will win in that brutal war. So this is few words about Uni Museum.
Thank you for speaking from your heart.
I mean, it's exceptional what you've been through and what you're doing. I know you were fleeing Ukraine as you were applying for the grant to put this Uni Museum together, and we were showing it a little bit just now as you were talking. I don't know if you noticed that. And in fact, I'm going to just quickly show it again, because I mean, you can see a little bit of the Uni Museum as it goes past. Have a look at this. So Liberty and Independence. There's the Uni Museum. And that's where you can go in and visit it. And we'd love to hear more about it and invite you back, Vera, when we've got a little bit more time. So let's talk.
Yes,
we'll talk in a little while.
On that website, on that website, we have a link. If you scroll down, there is a button Visit Uni Museum, so you can press the link and go directly to the metaverse space we have built for the exhibition.
Right. Okay, so anybody who wants to do that, that's been put there in the website. So the website is, let me just, in fact, Dr. JACALYN was showing it just now, but it's Uni Museum, unimuseum.io. Go to that website and yeah, let's get things going. Oh, thank you. So unimuseum.io, and Vera, that should be, the V should be on the other side. Vera DG, what was it? Vera DG something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
Vera,
I ask a question?
Yes.
Quickly,
Yeah.
Vera. Yeah. Is this your artwork stand with the lady with the tear? Is that your artwork? If you go back this one, yes. Is this your artwork with the lady? Yeah.
Lady Liberty.
We are
Liberty. No, not Lady Liberty. The other one, the one who's got the
that one.
This, yes.
That one.
Is that your work?
We are
The lady with the red lipstick
Vera-
and the tears. It's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful. It's such
Okay,
a beautiful
it's
piece of
Vera.
work.
artificial
Okay, so just-
intelligence to create artwork. So I used
Fantastic.
artificial intelligence.
It's fantastic. It's wonderful what you're doing. Wonderful. You know, the artists have the voice. They speak.
Yeah, they do. They really do. So, Vera, would you be able to come back a little bit later today and join us or not? If you could get a bit more stable connection where you are in Eastern Europe. No, see it. Anyway, everybody, VeraDG.com. And this is the thing. We're around the world and nothing's guaranteed when we're around the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
With internet connections. So, and that's part of what this day is about. Life is messy. And it's not about getting this day perfectly right. It's about being able to celebrate in its messiness. And I'm a great believer in that. And the next person that I'm really proud to announce and invite up has very similar sentiments. I haven't known this man for very long. In fact, it's been very interesting because Jenny died in South Africa while she was at school there in a province called KwaZulu-Natal. And it's the place she died is called Hilton, and it's about 80, 90 kilometers into the hinterland from the city of Durban. And so to me, and she was born there, in fact, she was born in South Africa. So to me, it was really important that we had South African performers here today, but all of them, and some of them I know very, very well, they all said to me, I'm really sorry, but we've had a really tough time with COVID in South Africa as performers, and we cannot be here. We've got to be out working and bringing in.
But
so
I'm sure they can watch. They can watch the program later.
But it was with But so it was with a very heavy heart that that I had nobody representing South Africa. And then somebody asked on Facebook and said, where's South Africa? And I said, it's sorely missing. A very good friend of mine, Steffi Betts, said, get hold of this man, just amazing. And the moment I started speaking to him, I knew he belonged to this show. And I'm going to invite up now RENE CIAKANI. RENE
CIAKANI, lovely name. Hi, RENE.
How are you?
Oh, RENE. How wonderful to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Just so happy to have you here.
Absolutely, we're good. We're good. Everything's going nice.
Yes,
you know what?
All fine. I would first of all do this.
Yeah, can we see you? Oh, that's better. Okay. That's much better.
I will first of all apologize for my modest setup. We were talking with Jenetta, and I say that because of how tight my calendar is, I can't be in the studio. I'll be in the lounge, use my phone for the first time. I hope next time I'll be in the studio. And also I just came home last night because I was performing since Tuesday, back to back. My voice might be slightly challenging, but I hope.
Okay, so stop there. Stop. Whoa.
Thank you.
Stop there.
The fact that you're here.
Two things.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And you all look beautiful.
Thank you. Two things. You and I agreed you would, whether you had a studio or not, that you would actually perform today. Rather than in a studio, because when you started doing it through COVID, you were telling me what? I couldn't leave you to put it in your words.
My telephone during COVID. We couldn't even afford to be in a studio because we have to hire the studio, and we learned that a cell phone or a smartphone can get a job done.
Yeah. And very professionally too. I mean, the bits and pieces you sent me, I went, holy moly, that looks amazing. So that is
Thank
why
you.
we agreed we do a messy home one, because this is what it's all about. And the other
Thank
thing
you.
that I wanted to say to you is
Yes.
that you've actually been up to Hilton this past week, which is
I
where
was
Jenny
there.
passed away.
I was there. I had a goosebump because you and I started talking on Sunday when I think it was Betty who linked us together. And she said, I have a friend based in London would like to talk to you about an amazing project. And that was on Sunday. But Saturday, I was in Hilton. And I was actually in the same location where you and Jenny lived. Then on Sunday, we start talking about this day, which to me was magical, if I could say that.
Oh, absolutely. It's so
Phenomenal.
true.
Mm.
It is so true. And yeah, we were staying there because to give a bit of a backstory, the kids were
Yes.
at school here in
Mm.
Kenya, and
Mm.
it's quite a costly event in Kenya to school your children. So
Mm.
we were offered the opportunity to come down to South Africa, back down to South
Mm.
Africa, and finish their schooling there. So
Mm.
although actually Jenny wasn't at school, she dropped out by that time and was homeschooling.
Mm.
But we really, Renee, if I was to tell you, our house was on the corner of Hilton Avenue,
Wow.
right next to the Hilton Hotel, by the highway. So now you know exactly where we were.
Oh my gosh. Because I was almost like 1 or 2 kilometers away from the Hilton Hotel in the Midland. I just felt like I went to look for you.
Oh, no, Renee, that's just so special. So very
It's a
special.
beautiful
And my
story.
children, by the way, my
Mm.
children went to Grace College. In fact, my son Neil
Okay.
was the first head boy of Grace College on the
Wow.
Hilton Road. Yeah.
That's
So any
impressive.
South Africans there, you're going, yes, I know this, I know it, I know it. It's very nice.
So
very nice
how long have you
place.
guys known each other? For quite
Well,
About
since
2
Sunday
seconds.
last week.
Sunday last week.
Yes.
Seriously. So even though you've been around the areas and lived in certain areas, you never
Yes.
like bumped into each other or anything?
No.
But a lot of mutual
Or
Like,
met
friends.
each
I'll give you an
other?
example. For today is the day I have a break. Normally, Monday it's my Sunday. I sleep more, I eat more, and I read books. And then Tuesday we meet with the band and agent. We rehearse. Then Wednesday we start gigging around the city. So it's seldom that I go out for pleasure. I usually only go out for work. And if I don't work, I study. So I do study at the Trinity College of London. I do guitar, piano, and tenor saxophone. So I was actually laughing when you were talking about what favorite jazz songs that you know, and she talked about Summertime.
That's right.
And, and because that's part of my curriculum. And I was like, I should have been there. So,
Yeah, you could.
but that was
Yeah.
refreshing. So we never really met because our even with a lot of South African musicians, we maybe meet at a music festival because everybody's busy. But can you imagine with internet and this global world we have, she spread the word to the world, and Betty was here, and Betty said to me, you have to be on this project. And here I am.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. It's
And we've got
fantastic.
the moment Renee started sharing to all his social medias, a whole bunch of mutual friends were going, oh, you know, Renee, oh, you know, did I hear? Oh, it was going back. So funny.
I think also
the
it's
power.
because this day it's so important for us and for me. As I told you, I work for Lifeline Durban, which is a crisis line. And when you told me the story of Jenny, we are dealing with this on a regular basis, especially since the onset of COVID-19. I've lost a lot of colleague musicians because you might have noticed this. Artists have very, I won't say fragile makeup, but they're very sensitive. they can feel the vibration around. And people might say they're too emotional, but that's not really the case. And the COVID period were very harder for artists to cope with. And I've lost a lot of colleagues, musician, and my work for Lifeline Durban allowed me, like, give me another reason to be here on your show. I didn't have an excuse because the board of Lifeline said, you've done something good, you should have been on that show. And they were sharing, literally the entire KZN, KwaZulu-Natal, is really sharing the post, because first of all, of what Lifeline have done for a lot of our communities struggling and still recovering. It's not over yet. But also your story was like, how can we start this conversation? Because it's eating us as a community, but we're sweeping it under the carpet, because some people maybe they would want to have this conversation, but they don't know how to start. It's a very loaded conversation. How do you start it? A friend or a colleague, a family member might have a problem, but starting the conversation could also bring the meaning of, you are bad, you are wrong, or you sinned, which is not easy.
Yeah, I know. Madeleine, go.
No, I was going to say, I totally resonate with you, Renee, in the way that, where do you start? Where do you start with, I mean, that's why I think if we just sang to each other, sang what was really troubling us, no matter how, almost you would hear what was going on, but you wouldn't be attached to the energy of it. But you'd be able to bring the solution through without being affected.
Definitely,
Exactly.
I agree with you.
Oh,
and with songs,
it's so true.
Yeah.
You're
we
right,
go to the doctors and start singing to them.
I can't wait.
That's it, Renee.
Actually, is your time. Renee, what are you going to sing for us?
Well, it's very. I was watching you, because now and then I would sleep and I'll wake up and see who were on the panel and what the discussion was happening, just for me to not lose my way and not talk about something that has nothing to do with the show. So I think there are 3 people that caught my attention, and one of them was Anita, who was Jenny's friend. And I love when she said they had planned to have another conversation, which never happened. That conversation never happened. And then I remember Kevin was also on your panel, and Kevin talked about somebody who was in a car crash, but they had to make peace with that event and find a reason, and how can we move forward, a new story. But then he also said, like, his mother's not talking to him, but that his mother's choice. So just if I recap on this, because I've been following you, and it was very uplifting and empowering to see that we all have something that's troubling us. Like you said, what can I sing to them? So I have 2 songs for today. The first one is called All I Need Is a Friend. And I think the British says a friend in need is a friend indeed. And I wrote this song last year. It was for a movie that was made by United Nations, documenting life of migrants and refugees. And you just had another friend from Ukraine now, talking about, because I'm trying to imagine the emotional impact of the war in your town, the war in your country, and you have to go somewhere that you don't have relatives, you don't have a friend. Emotionally, how are you coping with it? So this song can mean different things to different people, and I want you to own it in your own way. Make it your song. Thank you. All I wish for is someone I can talk to. All I want, someone who can stand by me. I'm a foreigner. It hurts to feel outcast. All I wish, all I want, all I need is a friend. All I need is a friend. I am not what you think I am. Don't be afraid, I'm just a little different. When I was a little man, I was taught to be kind. The wind of change, my future in the air. I don't know why. Don't ask me to tell you the full story unless you want to see a man crying. All I wish for is someone I can talk to. All I want is someone who can stand by me. I'm a foreigner. It hurts to feel outcast. All I wish, all I want, all I need is a friend. Yeah. I am not what you think I am. Don't be afraid, I'm just a little different. Thank you.
Love it. Beautiful.
Thanks so much.
Oh, Renee.
Oh,
Oof.
and we all need a friend. We all need that
We-
friend.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
We need that friend, yes.
That
Yeah.
just knowing that you've got that support, just psychologically, not even it being actually nurtured, but just knowing it's there can make a world of difference.
Totally, totally. I was telling Jeanette that I lost a brother in 2020, which was a big shock for our lives because he was the most intelligent in the family. And I say most intelligent because he had the best marks. He was the laureate for his school. He had a bursary to go study in Canada. It's like the world was out there for him. And a week later, we heard that he was in the hospital. He wasn't feeling well. And then another following week, he left us. And when you're talking about that friend you could talk to, somebody you know is there for you. When I went back to my WhatsApp messages, I realized that he was reaching out to me since August 2019. And like my shit, I'm always busy. I'm always after one gig. And I always say, I'll talk to you later. Let's chat later. And part of the signs of somebody reaching out was at the last minute, I think that was November, he said, would you please sing me a song? So to me, this was unheard of because I've never performed for my family members. I'm very shy. Uh, singing to me, it's always emotional. I love it. But and then by December, he wrote another message. He said, would you please sing me a song? And I was planning a Christmas gig, and I took one of the Christmas carol lyrics that was there, and I just did half of the verse. The remaining of the song, I just start singing la 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 la. And it was in January that he replied and he said, thank you. I felt so much better listening to that song. Never stop singing. And as I was going through all these messages, and I said, why did he say to me, I felt better? But even in that time, I couldn't pick it up because I was always busy. And I know, Madalene, you say that it's good to know someone's there, someone's listening, somebody's there I can talk to. But sometimes we have become so busy in our society today that sometimes the people around us don't want to be like a problem to us, don't want to be like a burden, because already we're showing by signs that we're not available.
Exactly, Renee. And sorry to say, but in the way that your brother said, can you sing me that song? And knowing that you were not answering because of your busy life to his messages, the one thing that he wanted in his heart was to hear a song. So therefore, when you did sing that song, it was a healing to him. It was a feeling of being heard. It was a feeling of, you know. The,
But
the
I didn't see
vibration.
that way though, because
Mm.
when Janet and Kevin and Anita were talking about the feeling of feeling guilty, when I heard that he passed, I was actually feeling guilty. I felt like, as a big brother, I felt him. I felt like I didn't do my duty. But now that you bring a different perspective, I didn't realize that when the message said, "Thank you for the song, I felt much better," maybe the song did its job. I don't know. I didn't see that way before.
The power of
Oh, I'm
music,
so
the power of lyrics,
glad.
the power of voice.
That
Thank you.
shift, that is profound, a profound
Mm,
shift, because there is
mm,
always the other side. And you know, as we end off with this, to endorse
mm,
what you're saying, I've noticed in
mm,
working with people, in consulting with them, in loss,
mm,
guilt, shame, and pride, or
mm.
the let me put it this way: the regret, shoulda, coulda, woulda, ought to have,
Yes. Mm,
why didn't I should have, all those statements are what constitute a lot of our grief. Obviously missing the person
wow.
too, but that's where our grief
Wow.
holds us. Until you can move those conversations, you get stuck in your
Okay.
grief. And you've just moved that conversation. Oof.
This is powerful. Because you know what? I remember I went for therapy, and I had to go through therapy because I was faking that I was okay. You wearing this like mask when you go to work, because you can't show to your audience that you're grieving. But there are strings of performances, and matter of fact, the day we let him to rest, I never attended the funeral because I had to perform on that day. And funny enough, the time he was being led to rest, it was the time I was scheduled to be on stage. And I had to honor my contract. So I never attended the funeral. And I remember the Lifeline director noticed in the meeting, she said, "Rene, something's not okay." I wanted to fake it, but she knows me so well. She actually ordered me to go for counseling. Now, this is so humbling because you are the ambassador for Lifeline and you need counseling. And I felt like, to me, it was like a baptism, because I will never feel what people are grieving are feeling because I have never been there. How would you go
Hallelujah.
and encourage people to seek for help if you've never walked that mile, if
Yeah.
you've never walked in those shoes? That was the day for me. I was very humbled to realize that it's a privilege, but it's also a duty that I have to carry with a lot of humility, because now I can feel what it feels like. I know what it feels like to grieve somebody, to go for therapy, to open your heart, to speak from the heart, and to say, "Would you please help me, because I can't on my own. I need your help." And I remember coming out of the therapy, I felt like it was a new beginning, like Rene was born again with a different awareness of pain and grief. And like you, I had to become aware of how to choose the words and when to say what, and sometimes when to shut up. Like sometimes just shut up.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, I
Many
just
times I've been
love
like that.
you, love you.
Yeah.
And we actually do, all three of us need to shut up,
Yeah.
because I think
Yes.
this is an amazing conversation, and I would like you back on one of our
Thank you.
shows.
Thank you.
But we have our next act sitting, and we've gone a little bit over. So, Renee, I'm going to say to you, love you loads. I'm just
Thank
so
you.
glad you joined up and were part of us
Yeah.
today. And let's see what we can create in the future.
I
Yeah.
can't wait. We need to keep this conversation going. Thanks so much for
Yes.
having me.
Need to evolve it.
Lots
Thank
of
you,
love.
Renee. Thank you for sharing
Merci
your
beaucoup.
love, your wisdom, your heart. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
What a lovely man.
Wow.
Oh, he's
What an
lovely.
amazing energy. Amazing
Yes.
energy. And with that, having gone into more serious stuff, I'm really very inspired and a little bit excited. I try not to sound too excited, but actually I'm very excited because our next act, I'm just trying to play cool, of course. Our next act is Beck and Sam, and they're part
comedy.
of Yellow Square
And they
comedy.
TikTok comedians.
They are. They're really big hits, TikTok comedians, and I think we're stealing their thunder. So let's not stop and just bring them up. Beck and Sam,
let's bring them in. Hey, Beck. Hi.
How are you doing?
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
No,
it's going great.
Yes.
It's going good.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for that lovely introduction as well.
That was so sweet.
I've just realised I haven't got your clip. Listen, Madeline, whilst I go and find out what has happened to that clip, could you interview Beck and Sam?
Yeah, of course I will. Yeah. Hi, Beck. Hi, Sam. Okay.
How are you doing, Madeline?
You're called. Hello, I'm good. The yellow square. Tell me about what's the yellow square? What does it represent in your life?
Oh, that's a very good question. And we get asked that a lot, actually. But it's not actually that deep, you know. No. People always expect it to be like this massive, profound thing, but actually, we named ourselves after cheese.
Do you know what I was thinking of? SpongeBob, because SpongeBob is like that big square, and yellow. I don't know why, but I just got this feeling of you two like SpongeBob, you know, SpongeBob and SpongeBob-esque.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like that.
SpongeBob and Patrick, definitely. That's definitely where our comedy.
Yeah,
that's where the level is, I think.
Maybe we'll steal that story. That's better than cheese.
Yeah,
well,
the yellow sponge that lives in the sea.
So,
definitely.
How did you meet each other?
So it was about 8 years ago in a lovely UK pub chain called Wetherspoons.
I know that.
If you've been there,
you know Wetherspoons?
I know it. Yeah, I do.
It wasn't the nicest one. It wasn't the worst one, to be fair, was it?
No. Sam was studying at uni at the time, and I was working in London, and we just our eyes met across the room, and the rest is history. We're pretty much inseparable after that, weren't we? And we got married this year, in April.
This year.
Oh my God.
So yeah, been together.
Congratulations! That's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
I was thinking, you look like twin flame. You look like twins. You know, of the male and the female. You know, you look like twin flame.
Yeah,
we love
that. Twin flames.
Like,
yes, I love that. Honestly, like since I found out about twin flames, I was like, this could be us. I've just been Googling it ever since. I was like, it could be.
Yeah.
You know, when you feel like you've known each other like in a previous life almost.
Yeah, the first night we met, it was very strange. We did just sort of launch into sort of deep conversations, and it did feel like we already knew each other, which was quite fun.
So you had the synchronicity straight away, and
definitely.
Did you when you met? Did you have a funny side to you, both of you? Did you have humor? Because it's very difficult, I think, for couples to work together. Honestly, so you have a formula. So tell me about your formula. How you work? How you work this magic.
Well, I mean, I think we found out quite early on in our relationship that we both really enjoyed comedy, and we've started kind of messing around and creating comedy songs that we would just post on Facebook, like to our friends and family, and they always seem to do quite well. But obviously, it was just to friends and family. But we just really loved doing it as a hobby back then, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it was maybe 3 months after we met that we made our first fully fledged comedy music video.
So what was your first? Wow. So sorry. What was your first comedy? What was the first comedy sketch? Because I like the idea of going before and now.
Totally.
Yeah. So so comedy songs back in 8 years ago. Our first comedy sketch was, I think, maybe March 2020. Do you think?
Yeah, what, the puzzle one?
Yeah, maybe
we did one where we can't find the last piece of the puzzle. Was that the one?
Yeah.
Or when you get the last piece of the puzzle?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a silly idea. So we first started making sketches. I think March
Yes, because that was when we started posting to TikTok, because we heard from your sister. Actually, Sam's got a younger sister who's just about 10 years younger. She was on TikTok, and she was like, guys, like, you should post sketches on here. And we were like, no, we're too old for TikTok. Like, we can't do that, you know. But we did, and yeah, people watched them. So
well, TikTok is, I mean, and how has it empowered you? How's it brought a wider audience to your viewership?
Yeah, I mean, I think for both of us, it's been a massive like confidence boost, because I think before, with our comedy and like writing comedy songs, we were always kind of almost like hiding behind the song a little bit, and like a little bit more scared to kind of, because we don't consider ourselves actors or anything like that. Like, we're just, we just had a funny idea and we just wanted to put it online, and we were the only actors available. So it's just, I think it's just been quite empowering, hasn't it? And confidence boosting for both of us, just to have a funny, an idea that we think's funny, and then just put it out there.
Wow. And how do you get your material? How do you become creative when you say, okay, we've got to do so many shows, so this week on TikTok, for example, or something, comedy sketches? How do you manage to how do you do this? What's the process, in other words?
Yeah, so we're constantly picking up ideas. We're inspired by anything. Like, we'll go to the supermarket and overhear a conversation between a mum and a child, and that'll influence a sketch, or
that'll spark something, or even just like a little interaction between us. Like, maybe Sam goes out to the shop to get, like, I don't know, washing powder or something, and then he comes back and he hasn't got any treats, and it's like, oh, hang on,
he didn't ask for any treats.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't have to ask.
Yeah, exactly. But we've got this little yellow book of ideas. So
wow. So if somebody says, like, for example, for a singer, they say, if you're a singer, then just sing. Like, in the way that if you were doing something like right now for World Jenny's Day, on the spot, just something from your head. This is the way that I work, because if you work and you've got this energy and connection together. It'd be interesting just before we play a video or something. I don't know. I'm always like this. I always like to, improvise. Just this second or just something like just for World Jenny's Day. Just for World Jenny's Day.
What would we do?
I don't know, Sam. I feel
yeah. We've got a sketch. Do you want to do the clapping?
Well, you don't have. Do you have the
I don't have the hat.
You could go and get the hat.
Pretend. Did you want me to get the hat?
You could go and get the hat.
I could get the hat.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's get the hat. Come on,
needs
Sam.
to get his costume prepared.
Is Beck short for Rebecca or Becky?
Yes, yeah, Rebecca.
Rebecca, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, because I thought Sam's not called Beck, because I thought Beck.
No,
Beck.
yeah.
So I thought he was Samantha, and I thought he was Beck.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. People do get confused. All right. Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. So Sam's going to prepare his costume.
Okay.
Shall I say what the title of the sketch is? So this is a little sketch that we like to call "Explaining Clapping to an Alien." Okay, so you basically just take both hands, and then you just bash them together,
right?
And then you just keep bashing.
But why?
Well, I don't know really.
Well, when would you do this?
Well, I suppose you do it. Oh, like to celebrate.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe you do it like in a restaurant and somebody smashes a plate. You'd be like, "Way."
Okay. So only then?
Maybe. So it's to celebrate.
So it's to celebrate and also humiliate.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you do in your planet?
I can't do that.
Oh, well, he's not doing the punchline now. You can't do that. You're not doing that? Okay. No, right. We've got that's a bit of a naughty punchline, actually.
Yeah.
Really? Is it not going to be,
it wouldn't be suitable.
Wouldn't be suitable?
That idea was kind of like, I think we were watching a musical, and at the end, everyone was clapping. And we just kind of looked at each other and we were like, why do people do this? Like, what a strange way to show appreciation, just mashing our hands together.
Yeah.
And we just thought, what would an alien think about that?
I love your take on it all. You know, something simple as clapping, and then think about an alien. It's true. What would an alien think? Well, why do we keep doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a seal. They watch a seal. Ooh,
Yes, yeah.
Actually, I've watched another alien one of yours, which creased me up as well. I mean, you guys rock, and I'm really, you know, his confessions. I can't find your clip.
Oh,
Okay.
that's okay.
That's
Don't worry.
But in my humble opinion, this is fabulous.
This is much more fun. Much more
Well,
fun.
I mean,
all organic.
well, I can only apologise that we're unrehearsed for
Yeah.
that. But that's okay. It's good to be put on.
I mean, that's our own
I
fault.
thought
for
you're
relying on the
brilliant.
clip.
I thought you did really, really well. I mean, immensely. I mean, on the spot like that. It's just, you know, you're true artists. You're true performers.
Oh,
And
thank
if you know, if
Honestly.
I was watching out there, it would make me want to reach for my phone and get into TikTok to see more of your stuff, because you did it so beautifully. I've been using the word organic a lot today, but I really believe that that's what today is about. And as I said earlier, you know, messiness is part of life. So I've messed up. I just cannot find it anywhere.
That's okay.
That's fine.
So, you know, that's it. And you've done so well with it. So very well.
Yeah.
So thank you for being with us as we
You're so welcome.
as we move out of the next hour. We've done another hour, Madeleine. These hours are
We're doing
by.
so well. We're doing so. And Beck and
we are.
Sam, where can people find your find you? Where can people?
Yeah, so all you need to do is search Yellow Square on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, and you'll find us.
Fabulous.
Excellent.
That's
Thank
wonderful.
you
I'm
so
definitely
much
going to be a
for
fan.
being here.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Thank you. And I hope you
Thank
accept
you,
my
guys.
humble opinion.
You're welcome.
And
we're so honoured.
Thank you.
Love you lots.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. And you guys enjoy. Yeah. Enjoy, guys. Wow. I just love that, guys. What a lovely energy. What a beautiful, honestly,
Yes.
they've definitely got a high soulmate connection there for sure. So honoured.
They look like brother and sister apart from anything else. Anyway, my darling friend, we need to move on to the other side of this hour, and Dr. Jacqueline's got her finger on the button to play us through to the other side of the hour, and there we have artist SUSIE Nathanson joining us. And I just love this lady to bits as well. Can't wait to share her with you. So over to you, Dr. Jacqueline.
Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacqueline. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacqueline at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Welcome back, everybody, to World Jenny's Day and USA Global TV. And we've gone through another hour of our 17, and it's just flying. Well, personally, it's just flying for me. We've had such an amazing array of performers today from all over the world. We've just gone from UK. We had Kenya, we've had Australia, we've had America, back to the UK, and it's just been so insightful. We've just had South Africa as well. So insightful, so enjoyable, and it's all about celebrating mental health wealth. Because I have noticed in other years where, having lost my daughter to suicide, on this day, people talk about how people are broken and they need to be fixed if they're feeling depressed or suicidal. And I believe that we all feel compromised at some time in our lives, and that it's not about fixing, it's about changing how you handle it and getting the skills to handle it too, but also definitely creative arts, and the arts are the very essence of who we are. We've been created by the Creator. We are part of creativity, and our creativity is part of that creation. And when we disjoint ourselves from that creativity, then we're disjointed. And that's what today is about. It's about celebrating through our creative abilities, mental health wellness. And on this section of the program, I'm just so pleased to present to you our next co-host, whose voice you heard, by the way, on the USA Global TV jingle just now. And it's with great pleasure that I invite up onto the stage to join me, CINI. Welcome. You're muted. And you're frozen. You're muted.
There we go. I just
there you go.
Thank you so much for inviting me to take part in World Jenny's Day. It's such an important and momentous event, and I've been watching, and it's really an amazing production that you pulled together here. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, Al. Well, for you to step in and take this slot with me means the world, and your energy and your expertise and so on is quite something. I know. I would love you. I mean, you've grown up in the performing arts around you, haven't you? Your dad was quite a well-known actor. Am I correct?
My father sang at Connie Corleone's wedding on the movie The Godfather. He was Al Martino, and actual real name is CINI, and he played in the movie The Godfather. So yeah, I know an awful lot about the demands and challenges of the performing arts as a business. He certainly taught me a lot about that. He was also very practiced, as all of the acts that I've seen so far on your program are. Rehearse, practice. And he was very committed to his art, as is everybody on this program. So that's what I learned. That was the number one lesson.
Oh, wow. Well, it's certainly his abilities shine through with you. Your voice alone is just the most amazing voiceover. And what a talent. And so, Al, I would like to introduce you to our next guest. She's not new to the USA Global TV platform. I think she's been with us quite a few times. And I invited her back today because I just loved the way Susie presents her art with, I call it art with heart. How about that, Susie? Susie, come on up and meet Al and all our viewers and listeners. Welcome, Susie Nathanson.
Hello, and thanks for having me. And as Al was saying, it's such a special thing to be here, part of World Jenny's Day, and the amazing list and lineup of performers and artists that you have. I feel it's incredibly special to be here. So thank you.
Great meeting you.
Wonderful to have you. Yeah. So Susie, Al, do you want to ask a little bit about Susie? I know all about her. I'm the College of Knowledge. You find out.
I'm sorry, say again. Was that a cue to me?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
From the top. I was just suggesting you might like to know more about Susie.
I definitely would, and how her performance is going to feed into the whole mission of World Jenny's Day. So sure, Susie.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I'm a painter, I'm an artist based in London, and I specialise in storytelling portraits of people, animals and objects, and I have a particular interest in painting vintage toys and performers. And the thing that I wanted to show you both today was two pictures, two paintings, one which is a work in progress, and the other one which is a finished piece. And they are both paintings which are dealing with challenging subjects of grief and loss, but in a way that I hope is beautiful and poetic and ultimately kind of healing, sort of a way of finding peace with a challenging circumstance. As and when we can sort of take one, we can look at each one as we go, and I can tell you a little bit more about it. So yeah, I think Jenetta, you've got the material, so as and when you're ready, we can have a look.
What would you like?
Let's go for the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and this was done in commemoration, in tribute to a very great lady. So this is just a little introduction about the painting.
Okay.
And it's based on this vintage toy that I should have had it with me so I could have shown it. But you can see it there. This is one of my love's vintage toys, and this was made in commemoration of her coronation in the early 1950s by a toy company called Timpo Toys. And I just felt, and this is a time lapse of me painting that toy. And I was painting this whilst watching the funeral as it was going on. So it was a really poignant moment. And I felt, for me, vintage toys in and of themselves have such a special quality about them. I think it's the way that they've weathered. This is a hollow cast metal toy. So it's a bit bashed and it's a bit scraped, and it has a story, it has a life. And I felt it was a way to sort of speak to, if you like, the very full life of our Queen, and all the challenges and obstacles that she must have faced, and how she dealt with them with such dignity and grace. And this was a toy that really encapsulated that very tall, sort of erect posture, and the fact that she's sitting on this horse. And I know horses are such a symbol of joy and love for her. She was a great horse sort of breeder and fan. And I also felt this idea of being on horseback, traveling, and this idea of a voyage and journeying into the sort of the next chapter, as it were, wherever that might be. It was quite a, I don't know, a significant thing visually, symbolically. So that's what that painting was about. And obviously it was talking about a sort of a national icon, not a lady I personally met, but certainly one I think our whole country has a great feeling for and great appreciation for. So that was one sort of example, if you like, in the way I use objects to tell stories, symbolic sort of stories about a person or an idea, and how that process in and of itself sort of helps one understand and kind of sort of make sense of, if you like, your thoughts and feelings about that subject or person. So yeah, hopefully that gives one example of how I work.
That really is beautiful work, Susie. I mean, a lot of attention to detail, and a lot of love went into that. And I know when you create these portrayals, it's not just the person you're trying to capture. In this particular case, you're trying to capture thousands of years, hundreds of years of British tradition and culture. And I'm sure you had that in your mind while you were creating this. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And I shall let you know as and when it's finished, because it's still a work in progress.
And I think even that that piece of video that you did, it's a work of art in itself as well.
Thank you. No, this is the other, I suppose this is the other element of, especially many artists today, in this day and age of social media. How do you kind of share the story of an artwork with people who may or may not create art themselves? How do you bring them into the process and help them understand that creative journey. And certainly video editing and putting it together and trying to use the time lapse and show the source of inspiration is all a way to hopefully doing that, but not sort of not overwhelming them with too much information at the same time. But good, I'm glad it has that impact. I'm glad.
Yeah,
Very impressive.
Wonderful. And do you want me to show you your next picture?
Yes, the other picture, exactly. So this is a big painting, oil on canvas painting, which I've called Old Man River. And it's sort of, whilst we were talking about a national figure, this is not physically my father, the man in the painting, but it was, if you like, a symbol for my father. And it was painted, it was begun a few months before he passed away and continued in the aftermath after he had passed. So it's sort of over a period of maybe 3 or 4 months back in 2018. And it probably represents one of the most significant and emotional experiences I've had painting a picture. In that we didn't know, obviously, when I started it, I didn't know how long I had left with him. He was battling blood cancer at the time. And there were so many emotions going around, as you can imagine. So I had certainly a lot of conflicting ideas in my head, but ultimately trying with this painting to come to terms with what was going to be the inevitable, I suppose, and to try and make some kind of sense, visual sense, out of all these chaotic thoughts and feelings that I was going through at the time. And so the character in the painting is actually a character that I encountered at one of the Edinburgh festivals that I was attending a few years before. And he was just full of sort of a story in and of himself. But for me, it was the fact that he had this guitar and this trilby hat full of badges and stickers. He felt like this traveler. He felt like someone collecting these experiences of life, wearing them as badges of honor, if you like. And I felt that was very akin to my father and my feelings about him, sort of eulogizing, if you like, this idea that he was a lover of travel, of art, of collecting, and that sort of was beautifully encapsulated, I felt, in this man. And then the characters around the painting. So I was trying to deal with this idea of time running out, this idea of transition, of the soul taking flight. So you have this clock and you have these crows flying towards the other side of the picture, and with that, this sort of strange explosion, if you like, of umbrellas taking flight, and with that, sort of all these wishes of things one wanted to have said, things, special memories of things experienced together. And then obviously the faded sign of Bon Voyage in the background. And then other things as well, like graffiti slang, which down below says greatness of heart, and then with a plus sign and a heart saying mind. Greatness of mind and heart. Which is sort of, again, sentiments of how I felt about my father. And then this little smoking baby in the lower right-hand corner, which was sort of a bit of a symbol about sort of this idea of battling the limitations of physical bounds. And toward the end, he was very much pushing his boundaries. He was trying to do everything and everything he could, and he was very active right up until the end. And I think it was that thing of he knew the end was in sight, and he was slightly battling that in certain ways. So I was trying to, again, make sense of that visually, and yeah, at the same time, you're kind of physically painting something and processing at the same time, and you're processing without words. You're just processing in paint visually. I am repeating myself there, but I can't sort of get across how important that was, because sometimes there's just no words to explain what you're going through in those sort of moments. But I felt such a sense of balance and peace that sort of came out of doing it, and making, as I said, making sense of things without sort of having, I don't know, without necessarily having to have another person there. It was the painting and me. It was a dialogue between the both of us. Yeah, I look back on it with sort of very full emotion, and it's something that it's always interesting, without explaining anything, what people see in the painting, independently of knowing what it was that inspired it. And that particular painting ended up being exhibited in an art fair, and it was sold. And I don't think the person who bought it knew anything about where it had come from and the reasoning behind it, but it had connected with them. And it just makes me think, Jenetta, about all the things you've sort of been talking about today, and how this idea that when we bare our souls, if you like, in the deepest sense, it's incredible how many connections one makes to the sort of the experiences of other people. And actually those things, those traumas, those challenges, those painful kind of moments can be the beginning of a bridge between you and somebody else that actually is full of positive things and positive action that helps people in many, many ways. So we need to know the full spectrum, don't we, in life, of the good, the bad, the ugly, as it were, in order to really be able to live fully and connect fully to other people.
Exactly. It's all that I encompass and embrace is understanding that in that change of scenario, which comes, whatever that change is, comes with a form of grief. It's being able to see what it leads us to, or leads one to, that would be missing if it hadn't happened.
Definitely.
And I love that. And it you know, it inspires me so much when people start understanding that gift in adversity. And it's more than the theoretical where you're going, yeah, well, you know, yeah, I get it. It's when the heart gets it.
Yeah.
And the heart really feels it and goes, I got it. And that's what your art has the capacity to do.
Thank you for saying that, and that's certainly what I'm striving toward. But thank you for sort of feeling that way. Yeah,
it's a really beautifully evocative piece and very well executed, and it's got a lot of elements to it. I'm curious about your process, Susie. Did you know you were going to be painting all those elements into this picture beforehand? Was there a plan that went into this, or did it kind of evolve as you were doing it?
A little bit of both, I think. I was doing. I fleshed it all out in a sketch beforehand, so I had the bones of what it was I wanted, and I scaled that up. So I'd worked out a lot of it, but then painting it, you figure a lot more out as you go, and things happen that you don't expect will happen, and you maybe add and move features. Other things perhaps you take out entirely. So whilst you have an initial plan, the end result is always a variation of that plan. It's never exactly. So yeah.
Beautiful.
That must make it more enjoyable, though, that it doesn't go to plan. That creative, for you, does it bring out your creative juices?
Yes, definitely. Although I would say probably the most exciting element of any picture is that initial sketching period, where those elements are completely in free fall, and you're not sure how they're all going to fit together. You just know the ideas that you're trying to express, and then you're just experimenting with placing things in different positions, the scale of things as well. I remember playing with the scale of that clock's sort of shape behind him. How big should that be? And it ended up as a very big feature, because it obviously symbolically was a very big element.
Wow.
So yeah, the sketching phase is very much the freedom phase of, you don't have to do anything in detail. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's very loose.
Susie, as always, it's such a pleasure to have you share your art and your heart with us. I want to thank you for joining us us today and sharing again. I know that this can inspire so many people too. So thank you.
Pleasure. And I would urge everyone to pick up a pencil or a brush and just whatever comes out, let it come out. It's a really great way of just dealing with things. Yeah.
Beautiful work, Susie.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much, Susie.
Thank you.
And see you again soon.
All the best, and have a wonderful rest of day to both of you. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie.
Bye. So, Al, wow, what a day. Now we've gone into meta art and into art. And we move on to something talking about the Edinburgh Festival and that man having performed there. Our next artist is an Edinburgh Festival Award winner, I think several awards in fact. And she's also kind of close to my heart as well because she's also from Kenya. I mean, Kenya's ruling, but that's because I'm very biased. And Mara, to a Kenyan mum and a Scottish dad, was born in the hinterland of Kenya from north coast of Mombasa, north of Mombasa Island. And she is known as Mara, the storyteller. Mara Menzies is her name, and she's Mara, the storyteller. And I would like to introduce everybody to one very special lady. So Mara, welcome to today. Where are you?
I am in Kenya, right by the Indian Ocean. Yes, in a small town called Kilifi. So yeah, and festival site. So it's all colourful and wonderful and really sort of fits, especially with the previous guest as well. So yeah, a beautiful place to be.
Nice to meet you.
Oh wow.
Lovely to meet you.
You know, Mara, I have to share with you, I was on a bike for World Jenny's Day a few weeks ago, and I was going through your territory thinking of you as I was biking, going, this is murder. But I did think of you.
Well, thank you for having me here, and it's really a privilege. I'm so excited to be able to share some stories and just converse with you, and yeah, have a lovely conversation. Thank you.
Mara, I know we showed a little bit of a promo of one of your pieces from you've done at the Edinburgh Festival, and I mean, your talent is astounding, quite frankly. And I know we wanted you to perform today with Kilifi in your background.
Jenetta?
She's froze. I thought it was just me.
She sure did. I think.
Disappeared.
Coming back in. Here she is. She's back.
Some sprinkle magic, bring you back.
Yeah, just I'm there. It was my internet. It went into glitch, but it's been very good today because Mara, I'm on the Great Rift Valley side of Kenya right now. And it's doing quite well. I'm pretty impressed with it. So my question was, would you be able to perform for us today?
Absolutely. I'm actually surrounded by some incredible baobab trees. I'll just I'll show you this little one right here. I don't know if you can see it. This one right here. So it's an incredible tree, and I thought that there's a story that I have that I thought it includes a little baobab tree. So I thought I would share that one with you. Well, I fixed my tripod that I've just gone and dismantled a little bit. Here we are. Yeah, so I use the stories for lots of different reasons, and this story that I'm going to share with you is an origin story. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, lovely. So this is an origin story. So from the very beginning of the world. And when God first made the world, he created everything in it. And he started to allocate the amount of time that each sentient being would have. So to the mighty baobab tree, he gifted 1,000 years. And then to the tiny little fly, he gave just a few hours. So time after time after time was given out until there were only 4 creatures left. There was the human being, there was the mighty ox, there was the dog, and there was the monkey. And God summoned the human and said, human, your job is very important because you must keep the balance of the world. The world will always change and evolve and adapt, and you must use your imagination, use your creativity. Try, experiment, innovate, and if you fail, try again. But you must maintain the balance. And so for that, you will have 30 years. And the human was very grateful. Thank you, God. And then God moved to the ox. Ox, your job is also important because you must help the human. You see, the human is very, very smart, but the human is weak and lacks physical strength. And that, my friend, is where you come in. You will help the human with any hard labor that is required. And so you will also have 30 years. But the ox was not happy to hear that and said, God, 30 years of hard labor, please. I beg you, it's too much. 10 is enough for me. And God loved his creations, and so he agreed. But the human, being a human, spotted an opportunity and said, God, if ox does not want those extra 20 years, why don't you give them to me? God did not see a problem, and so took ox's years and handed them over to the human. Then he turned to dog. Dog, your job is also important because you will also help the human. You see, the human will work very, very hard during the day and therefore must rest and recover at night. So your job is to stay awake and keep the human safe, protect the human's body and protect the human's property. 30 years. But the dog was horrified. What? 30 years? Of sleepless nights? Please, please, God, I beg you. It's too much. 10. 10 is enough for me. And God loved his creatures, and so he agreed. And the human asked if he might have those extra 20 years that were going spare, and God took them and handed them over. And then he turned to Monkey. Monkey, you will also help the human. You see, the human will sometimes have to make very difficult decisions. And those decisions are going to rest heavily on the human soul. And that, my little friend, is where you come in. I want you to distract the human from his problems, entertain the human, amuse the human, make the human laugh. 30 years. What? 30 years of being funny? Oh, no, that does not sound like fun to me. Please, God, I beg you, 10. 10 in Atosha, 10 is plenty for me. And God agreed. And once more, the human asked if he might have Monkey's extra 20 years, and God took them and handed them over. And so there are still some people who believe that our first 30 years are our true human years, where we create, we play, we innovate, we have fun, we try new things. And then we move into our ox years. And if you're watching, then you will do the maths of this story. But you're moving into your ox years where you work hard. And then you move into your dog years where you have sleepless nights. Perhaps you're worrying about the future. Perhaps you're worrying about your children. And if you are fortunate enough to reach your monkey years, well, then hopefully you will have led such a rich life that you will have gathered enough stories to entertain everybody around you. There's a little story.
That was, Mara, that was really beautiful. Where did the inspiration for your stories come from? That one was just beautiful.
So this one was told to me by another storyteller whose name was Wayupa Tosa. And I also thought I would tell this story because she passed away last year. So really in honor of her and the contributions that she made to the world of storytelling. But yeah, stories, they come from everywhere. They're really gifts. And often you don't go out seeking stories. It's the stories, they find you. So I read them in books. People tell me stories. When they know that you're a storyteller, they'll say, oh, have you heard the the one about whatever it is. And I think you also just find inspiration everywhere. You might hear something 10 years ago, and then in a particular moment, you think that little anecdote that I heard back then is actually appropriate for something that is required right now. So we just have this vast repertoire of ideas and memories, and piecing threads, stringing threads together to create brand new stories that might be required, or the essence, the core of that story can change, can move, can adapt according to the situation. So yeah, lots of places.
And you tell it beautifully, and pictures form in your head while you're listening. It's just wonderful work.
Thank you. It's
Mara,
a privilege.
Susie Nathanson, who's just been with us, says, "Beautiful story, Mara, and wonderfully told." And that is so. Which leads me to ask you, why did you get into storytelling?
It's a good question. I think, because I grew up in Kenya, as you said, and then I moved to Scotland, and it was actually when I was expecting my first child, even though I had grown up in a culture of storytelling with my parents, my grandmother, and when I was expecting my first child, I really wanted this child to engage with her African heritage. I knew her Scottish culture would be sorted, so I thought the best way to do that was through stories, and so I had all of these stories, and so I wrote a book, and I found an illustrator, and I published the book, and I tried to sell the book, and my friends and family bought them, and I still had 900 and something left. So I began to open it up to sort of invite people to hear the story in the hope that they would buy the book. But of course, I never read from the book at all. I would just tell the story and just watch how people would respond to it. And it was a picture book for children, but their eyes were wide, and it kind of went from there. Somebody came and told me about the Scottish Storytelling Centre, which is this incredible resource that we have in the city, and it's the home of Scottish stories. And visiting there and seeing a whole diverse array of different kinds of storytellers, big performance storytellers, and then the little ones who sit quietly and they hardly move, but you are gripped to every single word that they say. So a huge number of different kinds of storytellers, and all of them working in lots of different ways. So some are working with people with dementia, others work with people suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, other people love working with children and using stories in that education way. So there are so many different ways that stories can actually work with society, with community, with people and individuals. And I just fell in love with the idea that, I could be a storyteller. So so that's how I fell into this amazing, magical world.
That's great. Mara, okay, I have a question for you. When you tell a story, it becomes somebody else's. I mean, as soon as you give it to us, it becomes ours in a way. How does it feel to you when you hear somebody else tell a story that you told them?
I love it because it gives a sense of what they were experiencing when they were listening to the story. Because I know that you can tell a story to 100 people and they are all going to have their own particular magical way of experiencing that story based on their backgrounds, based on the family they came from, based on whatever experiences that they've lived through. And so if they feel that that story has moved them in such a way that they feel the need to retell it, then it's a gift for me, If sometimes there are stories that I'll say this is a story that I have heard, and maybe there have been conditions passed down with that story, like perhaps it should be told at a certain time, and then you pass that on. And I think you have to honor and respect those kinds of requests. But when I hear a story that I've told, then my job is to tell stories, and hopefully those stories gain momentum and can travel on and become somebody else's. And you never know. That's the thing about storytelling, is so intangible. You will never see the effect really, but you know that the ripples are being created continuously, and you never know how a story is going to touch somebody, because you might have your intention of, I'm going to tell the story about climate change or whatever, but actually maybe the story involves a mother and a daughter, and then that relationship of mother and daughter is actually far more important to one particular listener, and that's the angle that they experience the story. So you never know how a story is going to land, and it's just about planting seeds. Seeds, wherever the seeds fall, they grow at different rates in different people. So it's a gift if I hear somebody retelling my story.
It's beautiful.
Wow. I wanted to also ask you, you know, when you get to do something at the standard and level that you did for Edinburgh Festival with Blood and Gold, do you have a director or do you direct yourself?
So that's a good question. So sometimes with the storytelling, if it's sometimes a lot of the stories are shorter ones, like the one I just told. Others are about sort of 15-20 minutes. So you create a set of stories. Like, so in an hour performance, you might have 2 or 3 different stories. But for Blood and Gold, it was a whole hour show. And I felt that it was important that I was hitting as many people as possible. And the reason for that is because it was potentially quite a contentious content, you know, because I was exploring the legacy of colonialism and slavery, but I wanted to use myth and legend as a way of exploring that, and for it to become just a platform for people to step out of what was going on, because I felt the conversation had hit this brick wall and nobody was actually conversing because people were afraid of being accused of something or stepping across the line or being this or being that, and actually that's a really pointless way of being, because we need to speak with each other and we need to engage in conversation. So this is a soft way, because you're creating worlds, you're talking about, you know, the shadow world and the invisible world, but actually a lot of the themes are the same, because you're exploring you know, greed and power, and then more issues that affect us now, like immigration and racism and all of those sorts of things. So I did work with a dramaturg to really help me fine-tune some of the stories, because I know that I'm looking at it from one perspective and I needed other people, like how would somebody else interpret that. So for example, there was I first created it in 2019, and one of the inspirations for a part of it was Eric Garner in the States, who was murdered by the police, and he was also I can't breathe, and so I incorporated that into a story of a woman who was fleeing these shadows, and the shadows fell on her, and she also responded with I can't breathe. But then of course in, you know, with George Floyd and the events of 2020, then I wasn't too sure how that would land, so I really needed to open it up and just get different people's perspectives and say, does this land in a slightly different way to how I had anticipated it landing the year before. So so yeah, I worked with a director to really just kind of help me fine tune certain things, because I wanted to get it right. And I just think sometimes an outside or an inside eye, I should say, someone who's really in that story with you, and also wants it to be the best story that it can possibly be. So yeah, so with the longer pieces, which is one long piece, then I like to work with other people, my little team, my team of angels.
Good, beautiful. You know, Jenetta, that was such a great question, because we get wrapped around the axle of politics all the time, and we always get into arguments over things we really don't fully understand. And what I love about Mara's approach to telling stories is it subtracts the politics from the story and communicates the human experience that she's trying to get everybody to feel. And at the end of it, all you have are the feelings. You don't have you can understand the issues better because you're not all twisted up by the personalities. And I just think that's a terrific contribution. Thank you, Mara.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got you. In other words, it takes the high emotion and brings it into a heart-opening emotion.
Yeah. And it hits people regardless of who they are, where they come from. It doesn't really matter. All that other stuff does not matter. At the end of it, it's about relationships between people. It's that emotional, and we all feel the same. We all feel joy. We all feel sadness. We all feel injustice. And, you know, for me, I think kindness and compassion are probably the highest human qualities that could possibly exist. That's my own personal feeling. So I try to approach things from that regard, and therefore, you know, I read papers like the Daily Mail in the UK, but I'm not a Daily Mail reader. But I want to understand how other people are consuming information, because it's very easy for us to get stuck in our own tiny little bubbles, and then we begin to judge people based on that tiny little perspective. So it's important to really try and kind of widen ourselves out and see, okay, how are other people viewing the world, and how am I able to tell a story that will engage them in exactly the same as it might engage people who have a more similar worldview to me. So it's never about judgment. It's just about how can we share as much as possible.
It's a gift.
Mara, again, so lovely to interact with you. I look forward to the day when we can meet. Perhaps do some theatre together. Wouldn't that be amazing? Are you in Kenya for some time?
I will be here for a few months, so I might be heading your way.
Yes, well, karibu. Karibu. That would be wonderful. Okay, Mara, thank you. See you soon and lots of love.
Yes, thank you. Thank you both. Thank you.
That was
wow.
Really very moving. Great guest, Jenetta.
Yeah, she's one talented lady, and if you watch her work, it'll blow you. But having said that, I think the talent that's been rolling out today has been quite an amazing. It's like I've stepped away and I'm looking at this whole stage all day long of people who wow, I can't even put it into words, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. It just so much talent out there. It's mind-blowing. Yeah. And that brings us to World Jenny's Day sidekick, who's been helping me for the last few weeks, is stepping onto the platform with a different hat, or should I say a different crown by the look of it. Madeline, come on up and join us.
Hey, hi.
Madeline, it's nice to see you again.
I know, because I need it for character. Because what I'm going to do is, well, to be honest, I was trying to pull in Martin to read some a romantic script from Star Child the musical.
Absolute waste of time.
But no, so I'm going to do it myself.
Okay.
So I'm not an actress, and it's meant to be a serious a serious act. It's scene 15 on planet Amaranth. Basically, this is Star Child. Oh, you can't even see it. This is Star Child the book. Oh, where is it? Oh, you can't even see it. Well, you can't really see it yet. And basically, these are all the. Oh, you can't even see these either. Okay, you can't even see the planets. Oh, okay, you can see this one, I think. Yeah, you see that one? That's okay, I'm going to be serious here, honestly, guys. This is a musical based on my book Star Child. And I've worked with Lottie, and she did some the music for it. And it's a musical about how a child being, cosmic beings, help earthlings to help the earth to restore her to love, peace, unity, fairness, and everything like this. And basically, this is a scene. Of all the scenes I've chosen a romantic one. So I'm going to play. Right, I'm going to put right. The crown is the goddess. So the scene is set on planet Amaranth. Now, it's about the goddess of love has gone missing, and she's been trying to contact her husband, the Wizard of Onyx, but she got transported on another planet, on planet Amaranth. She couldn't contact her husband, her twin flame. No, it's not yet. Not yet. She couldn't contact her husband because he was in a low vibration and she was in the 9th dimension. So anyway, so I'm going to play a Wizard Onyx and the Goddess of Love. I'm the narrator and I'm going to sing. Okay, so here we go. So please, I'm not an actress, viewers. Honestly, I'm not an actress. So I'm just going to do my best I can. Okay. Okay. You can't even see it. Narrator. Okay. But little did they know that, oh, I need to take the crown. Oh, no, I'll leave the crown on. Hang on. I'll go like that. Okay. But little did they know, I can't even see the script. Okay. But little did they know that Wizard Onyx, with all his dark army of ogres, was approaching Earth. All the positive waves of energy from Earth, including the love of Star Child and Ricochet, beamed such a strong light that the light reached Wizard Onyx's spaceship and blasted it spiraling into the darkness of space. Planet Amaranth is a beautiful blue, serene moonlit planet where the goddess of love lives. So now the goddess of love is going to go into a song. Right. Okay. Is it on? Okay, sorry. Oh. Far away across the seas, I feel you calling out my name, as if whispers upon a gentle breeze, calling to me as I wait and long for you. How am I going to get through these empty days, waking up every morning knowing you're so far away? I can't help myself. There's nobody else here but you. And I know our love is true. I'm so lost in you, so lost in you. I cast my mind back to the time last year in early spring. I feel your gentle words flow over me, and your kiss said we would always be. And how am I going to get through these empty days, waking up every morning knowing you're so far away? I can't help myself. There's nobody else here but you. And I know our love is true. So lost in you. A big loud bang, and Wizard Onyx's spaceship is spiraled into a vortex and lands on planet Amarand. He comes out of the wreckage, his clothes torn, and oil and bruise marks on his face. He sees a bright light and a figure coming towards him. He breaks down and bursts into shakes. I have failed. I have lost my only son. Lost my armies. I deserve to die. She, goddess of love, floats on the stage, walks over to him in his weakened state as she walks towards him. He says, "Is it really you? After all these years? I've been searching for you. So many years of torment and pain. Please, please tell me I'm not dreaming." Yes, yes, my beloved, it's me. I have been searching for you too. Both of them hug each other. I thought the evil sorcerers captured and killed you after they invaded our home planet. I escaped, my love, but I could not find my way to you. The beings on this planet were so kind, they accepted and allowed me to live on their planet of peace and love. I have searched throughout the whole of the cosmos to find you. I tried to contact you telepathically, but all I received was darkness. Nothing, no light whatsoever, just silence for many years. So I thought they killed you. I thought I'd lost you. She turns away, not wanting him to see her pain. He goes over and embraces her. I am so sorry, my love. I have wronged you and our son Ricochet and many others. I have brought nothing but shame and terror on innocent lives. Can you forgive me? I will change. I will be the man you fell in love with. I will be him. once again, for to lose you again, my love, I will surely die right now. He places a dagger to his heart. Please, please say you forgive me and take me back, for I have no need for this body, of this heart of mine. If this is so, I love you and you alone. Stop! Please! No more pain! I can't bear any more pain. Oh, my love, I forgive you, for you acted in response of your pain and fear. This made your heart like stone. Do not fear, my love. I am here now. We are eternally. Our love will unite us with our sun, Ricochet. But for now, let us go and celebrate each other. Oh, how I have missed you, my love. Never again will be torn away from each other. For we have found each other, my love. We have found each other. The wizard Onyx and the goddess of love and light reunite their love for each other and both return to their home planet Zodosk, where they both lived in peace, harmony, and love. The end. I've never acted before.
That was very emotional, Madeline. That was beautiful.
I didn't know I was going to play 3 characters.
You did great.
Thank you.
And you did the
crown
costume
didn't
change.
slip.
The costume change, you pulled that off. It was great.
Yeah, the crown did not slip.
No, it didn't. At one point, I was thinking it was going to. You know, that was.
So that song, Madeline. How? I mean, you wrote that song. Tell us more about it.
Yes, I wrote that song with Elton Zab, who's in Malta, and it was basically, honestly, it was about how I was thinking if she's away from her love, because I thought then how would she feel, as if I had to imagine that her love was overseas. And when I wrote the song, it actually happened to me in real life. My love at the time went overseas and left me. So it made me want to go back into the studio and re-record this song and put a different words to it, a little bit more. So yeah, it's about a love of a life that's away from when we all have that with long distant relationships, or where love is forbidden and love finds a way. And that's what the song is about. Lost in you. You love someone so much that you become into them. You become lost in them. You lose everything that you are to become everything that you want to be with them. And it's a longing. That's what it's about. And basically, the goddess of love, she got captured by evil wizards. Wizard Onyx was planet Zodosk, which is where they come from. She lived there as king and queen, as the wizard Onyx and goddess of love. Then evil came into, embarked them, took everybody for slavery, turned the planet into low vibration. The wizard Onyx, then his heart turned to stone, but his goddess of love managed to escape from the sorcerers, evil sorcerers, and she was transported to planet Amarant, which is like a moon, beautiful silvery moon planet, where the beings there are on peace and love and just calm serenity. And so she was longing to reach out. She reached out telepathic to her love, but she couldn't reach him because he was too much in a low vibration. Because so that's what it is. The musical is about love over fear, winning of and basically there's different planets in it, different music for the different planets as well.
and there's cosmic beings. There's a cloud 9, which I really want to do that actually, where you've got the goddesses of harmony, goddess of purity, the high priest and priestess that do the celebration of love through a kaleidoscope of colors. And there's Bong and Dong, who are the dopey aliens that try to chat up the goddesses. Yeah, and there's some really beautiful stories about how Malachi, another character there in the he fights for he's an earthling, and he fights for justice, fairness, peace and equality. So and Starchild, who comes from the universe, from the different universe, from planet Zinger, she comes into, finds Mother Earth in distress, finds that Mother Earth's children are in distress. So she vows to help Mother Earth, Gaia. And so she meets enlightened earthlings there, but she learns how fragile the earthlings are, but how strong they are in love. Yeah. Sorry, Al.
Quite a story. You know, my hour with all of you is about to come to an end, and I have a question for Jenetta. What do you think Jenny would think about all what you've assembled here today for World Jenny's Day?
I think Jenny at 16 would be very different from Jenny now. And it's a difficult one to answer on a logical level, of course, because Jenny at 16 would have gone, being 16. But I think one of the things that's inspired me, and it has for some time now, is we talked earlier how people who've been working on any matters Jenny, like this day, like the song for Jenny, like my book, people who read Full Circle Rainbow, there's an energy that comes out to them that's deeper than explanation can give. And I think it's not so much about what Jenny would think, because she's not in a human thinking capacity, I guess. It's what Jenny is resonating. And it shines through a lot. I often had people who phone me after reading the book saying, it's like she's around me all the time and understands me. I can't tell you how often it happens. So yeah, but it's a great question, because I guess once one moves over into a different vibrational form of energy, sound, and light, the reasoning changes.
Well, the beautiful thing about this whole experience, Jenetta and Madeleine and Susie and Mara, I mean, it's wonderful, is that you're creating a kind of a continuity between the physical world that humans live in and the spiritual world that they're all intended for eventually. And I really think that comes through in all the forms of art that we've seen on your program so far. So thank you, and thanks, Dr. Jacalyn, and thanks, Madeleine, for pulling this program. Wonderful.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, Jenetta. Thank you for allowing me to share my creative heart with you guys. And thank you for allowing me to be part of the platform for World's Jenny. And thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Jenny.
Bye, everybody. Have a great rest of the show.
Okay. Thanks, Al.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Right. Well, Madeleine, you can take that hat off.
Can I take my
off and put on a new hat? Now, co-host hat, and you put your co-host hat on, please.
Okay, I've got it. I'm here.
Okay, so would you like to know who our next guest is?
Oh, yes. She's a singer. She is a phenomenally talented singer, songwriter.
She is. And I've just seen that we have our next co-hosts coming up too. They're here. So let's get them to join us. It's Ian Pellenturman and Helena Shad. Welcome, both of you.
Good afternoon. Again, hello.
Hi, guys.
You're going strong.
Yeah.
We're going strong. We've had some phenomenal talent coming out here today, from circus act performers to amazing dancers to singers.
Acrobatics,
Oh, it's just,
acrobacy.
yeah, it's been
Oh my
amazing,
gosh.
amazing. Such a high standard of talent around the world there. It's really heartwarming.
It's lovely. And as I said earlier, I love the fact that you've created this sort of ring of people from different countries, isn't it? It's like it's
Yeah.
just it's love, it's sharing love, and it's highlighting such a good cause. And obviously, it's
And I
World
think
Health Day as well today.
yeah.
So,
And I think it's also, I don't know if you can hear me, but I think it's also that it shows that we may be vastly different in different parts of the world, but we're all really the same.
definitely. And, you know, performance and singing, a lot of the time it is one language. You sort of can communicate, can't you, without even speaking as such. And it just gives great fun, gets those endorphins rushing.
I think, Helena, you want to sing.
Do you know? I haven't thought about
Yeah,
I
I'm picking it up. Your heart wants to sing. We're gonna talk later. Honestly, we got to work with. Yeah, I just feel it. Just the way that I had with Dr. JACALYN. I've just got it with you. Went boom. It went sing. Your soul just went. I want to sing.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah. Maybe Ian as well. Maybe Ian can spin a tune.
No. You've done nothing to me, you two. You know?
Okay. Was it that bad?
We love you.
He's a very good tap dancer, you know.
Oh, that's what I'd like to see.
And he's very good at eating crisps.
Oh, you mean taps? You mean tap dancing with the taps?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
A few backflips.
Oh my gosh.
We have our supplies here ready for this session. So we have our chips, we have our chocolate, and we have tea. So we are now well ready to be your extraordinary venture that you're doing today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've had a very good performers and guests, as Jenetta was saying as well. But it's BeeBee. We've got BeeBee, haven't we? Am I right there?
BeeBeeFeenix.
Yeah.
So let's call up BeeBee and welcome her. BeeBeeFeenix, welcome to the stage today.
Hi guys, thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
Well, BeeBee and I met on Clubhouse, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes, spiritually we connected through there, and it's been a great journey ever since.
Oh, well, it's wonderful to have you today. BeeBee, do you want to give a bit of background to all of us of why you're here and what brought you to singing?
Absolutely. I mean, I've always wanted to be a singer. I've always wanted to be a performer, but something always held me back: stage fright and confidence. And I've never given up my dream. I've never given up my desire. And unfortunately, I fled domestic violence and have now lost both of my parents to cancer. And having gone through a lot of grief and a lot of suffering in my life, I just realized that what I needed to do was be able to, everything that I've learned from going through all of that, it was about time that I started to give back. And through the thanks of lockdown and Clubhouse, I was able to start producing my own music. And through that actually gave me a space to be able to use my voice. And what I've been able to do is translate my lessons into lyrics and to be able to put my passion into purpose and my mess into a message, and that I'm now able to give back. And if I can just help one person, you know, that I can save one life through domestic violence or help one person through their grief, then my mission on this planet is absolutely going to be fulfilled. But I just want to reach out to everyone's hearts and reach and raise the vibration of humanity through being able to give back my gift.
Can I say something that I was listening the other day? I'm part of a big new hub of high technologists, and one of them is a group of people that changes people's perceptions and how they feel by sound vibrations. This is a new phenomena that is already sort of coming into Britain. You get an app, and when you get on that app, this app can actually make you happy, and it works. So music, any form of music, any form of sound can actually add to creating a new world.
I'm grateful you said about that, actually, because I'm creating a new genre of music called quantum music, because I am also an energy healer, and I work with frequencies and I work with healing, and knowing that we are all frequencies, or everything is energy and we all have this vibration. I'm starting to create a new genre, which is the frequency I'm working with at the moment is 741 hertz, which is a heart healing frequency. And so what this was aiming to do is to give a deeper connection to the song, to the listener. And although it's obviously, you know, quite healing music in its own way, to add an extra dimension and an extra layer, and bringing spirituality to mainstream music. So it's perfect that you said that, because that's exactly what I'm doing with my music also.
Amazing.
Yeah. It sounds like great minds think alike.
Absolutely. And the universe aligns everyone as they're meant to.
Exactly. That was what I was going to say is, you know, there's no coincidence that this is what you're doing. And Ian, you've been investigating and hearing about it at the same time. And when that happens,
there's so many methods, I think, these days of creating happiness. I mean, this show will create happiness. And just the positive vibes from it. And I think the biggest thing that people need to do today is just to listen to each other. You know, I've done 2 shows already today on another channel, and we were talking about that somebody has said that the values of people who come from Africa will diminish over many years. And I came back to them and said, the reality is that the value of this world are the people and the communications that we have together. And I think that is one way, because I went through, I think, mental health issues as well. And what helped me and what saved me were people who really understood what I was going through, supported me. And nowadays, you know, I think it's very important for people to reach out when you've got issues like this. And so programs like this, organizations like Jenetta's organization, are the type of organizations that will really help.
Yeah, I agree. Community and listening. Absolutely, Ian. Great point.
It's all about connection, isn't it?
Connections, exactly, Helena. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Jenetta. Let's get some voice.
Okay, so here's the secret. I have earpods, and every 3 hours they go ding 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 ding, and then they put me on mute. They're going, I'm not made for 17 hours.
recharge.
They're flashing at me, and not in a bad way, but they are flashing at me. So, okay, so BeeBee, tell us what you're singing today and what that means to you.
I'm singing a song that I have co-written with a couple of people around the world. It's called Change My Reality. And what I want to do is get the message out there that where you stand is not where you need to stay. Change is possible. We just have to believe that it's true. And there is a way to find that change. And so for me, this song just expresses the way I was when I was feeling helpless, but also the fact that I can and will, and anyone can change their reality. So if you'd like me to perform, I will start the song. So welcome everyone, BeeBeeFeenix. Here is my song, Change My Reality. I don't need to stay where I am, I can change my reality. Chipped away, I lost control. I couldn't do anything right. You made me question my own mind, drowning in the thoughts you left behind. I don't need to stay where I am, I can change my reality. I will rise up higher and higher. I don't need to stay, I don't need to stay where I am, I can change my reality. I will rise up
stay. I don't need to stay. I once was trapped under your home. I didn't have any more fire. You made me question all that was. What I thought was real, but clearly not. I don't need to stay where I am. I can change my reality. I will rise up higher and higher. I don't need to stay. I don't need to stay where I am. I can change my reality. I will rise up higher and higher. I don't need to stay. I don't need to stay. The flame of your gaslight ignited my fire, fire, fire. I found my strength within. Now I'm a I don't need to stay where I am. I can change my reality. I will rise up higher and higher. I don't need to stay. I don't need to stay where I am. I can change my reality. I will rise up higher and higher. I don't need to stay. I don't need to stay.
Very good.
Woo! Thank you, guys. Such an honour to be part of this beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you.
And I took on board your message. It's very easy to question yourself, isn't it?
Yes.
A lot of the time. But the reality is finding the right answers.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you question yourself too much and you question your values, I think in your heart of hearts, everybody knows their values. They know what is right. They know what is wrong. It's inherent within us. And I think nowadays we should trust our judgment more and really go forward when we're doing anything that we think has got a value. Because if we feel it's going to create a value, I think it will create a value for other people. And that song was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
It
speaks from my heart to yours.
It's a lovely catchy tune as well.
Yeah, it's kind of hypnotic.
I like that. I like the kind of just drawing people in and having that connection and just, again, it's just allowing that freedom. And again, it's the connection to ourselves. It's a connection to each other, connection to music. It's all about connecting. So yeah, thank you so much.
Fabulous.
Love it. Yeah. I find that also, BB, that the way that you were saying about have you done the music yourself? Have you produced the music yourself?
This is a co-production, but I have done some of my own production, yes.
Fantastic. Just, did you know how you wanted to, with the music, did you know how it was going to go at the time?
Not at the time. The creative process was that, I was speaking about what it was that I wanted to raise the awareness for, or what I wanted the message of the song to be. And sort of once we had the main line of the change my reality and not, I don't need to stay where I am. It's that so many people believe that they have to be where they are, but I want to let people know that they can change. I've been able to change my life, infinite times, hence the Phoenix part. I've risen again and again, and I will keep rising and I will keep succeeding. And I want everyone else to know that they can do that too. And, mental health, it's an awful dark place sometimes, but also that there is a way out of that, and that I want to lift people out of that if I can, through my words, through my music and through my heart.
And BeeBeeFeenix, I'm sure you will. Honestly, I can hear people, I can see T-shirt slogans, and I can hear your song being played everywhere. I mean, it's such a strong statement.
Yeah, I've already got my merch. I haven't got anything out there, but you know, it's like saying be yourself, be love. It's all about, you know, bringing that to ourselves and to each other.
Oh, well done to you. Honestly,
Thank you.
BeeBeeFeenix, well done. Well done.
Thank you. I'm so grateful and honoured to be
Exceptional.
here. Thank you.
Wow, BB, thank you for joining us today, and I'm so glad we finally made this happen, because you weren't with us last World Jenny's Day, were you?
No. I basically had split up with a relationship not long before that and lost my dad, and I was going through a lot of grief, and I think there was a lot of problems going on in my world that I wasn't able to get here, but I'm so grateful that I never gave up, because I'm so so pleased to be part of this. And you know, moving forward, I will always honour myself and give anything I can to help raise awareness, because it's such an important part of my life as much as it is yours. So you know, I'm glad it's taken 2 years to get here, but I'm glad I finally got here.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here too. And in fact, I'm so sorry you missed last year, because we Helena and Ian, we had a 24-hour marathon on the Clubhouse audio app.
We heard about that. Goodness me, 24 hours.
So
That's really
you've beaten me, because I had to do the funeral for the Queen. That was 6 hours 40 minutes. And with a 10-minute comfort break. One last thing as well, that I think the reality for what you're saying as well is, my just small bit of advice is, you're using your intuition, honour yourself.
Yeah, it's so true. Very true.
That's a new song, Ian. You've given BeeBeeFeenix ideas for a new title for a new song. Yeah.
Intuition. Yeah.
Intuition. Honour yourself.
That line will be used somewhere, and I'll give you a little nod.
That's the next song. I can feel it. Yeah, it's going to be a great song.
BB, looking forward to creating some more magic, even more directly with you in the future. Your timbre of voice is really quite appealing. I love it.
Thank you, and I'm always open to collaborate with anyone. And you know, I'm at this stage where I just offer myself to be able to just do anything to raise awareness. So thank you, and I would love to work with you on any project you have upcoming.
That would be lovely. We've just had, I didn't quite get it, if we could get, Christine Barker said, "Change My Reality, a moving and hypnotic song." Thanks, BB.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, BB.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're welcome. Wow. So we've got our another act under the. I can't even think straight. I'm getting so tired. I'm going to have to take a break. I can feel it, because rather like you, Ian, I've been here since my 12 o'clock. Your 10 o'clock. So I think I must actually take a break at the beginning, at the top of the hour. But we actually have, for now, the global village, and I'm not quite sure. Have we got Woon here? I can't see Woon here. Maybe somebody should send him a link or something like that. Hi, Woon. Here we go. We'll see what's happened to him. Now, this is a really interesting one. This is back to the metaverse again. And what happened was, when I was through the corridors of Clubhouse, one of the things in getting the NFT work together for the World Jenny's Day NFT collection on the blockchain, I came across Woon. And he helped me, and many others, not just Woon on his own, helped me to get the NFT collection that we have on the blockchain. We were one of the first to do that last year in history. And I was saying earlier, we had the UN present, the writers of the rewriters of the UN Sustainable Development Goals were there present when we launched the artwork for World Jenny's Day, and they were able to take note that we'd affiliated to SDG
4.3, which is about mental health and wellness. And Woon was a big part of that. And then he introduced me to ANNELIZE BOOYSEN. And ANNELIZE was going to be with us today from Buffalo in New York. And she went down with COVID. We've had an interesting time with COVIDs and laryngitis and all sorts of things happening, but went down with COVID. And Woon very valiantly stepped in to cover for ANNELIZE and to explain what your global village on the metaverse is all about. And I'm part of it. I'm part of that village. Woon's part of that village. And it was the mastermind of ANNELIZE, who sadly can't be with us today, but gladly we've got Woon here because he's also very special and close to my heart. So Woon Tan, welcome.
Hi everyone.
Hi,
Woon.
I'm not in the best lighting, but hopefully you can hear me.
Yes. And tell the people, where in the world is Woon Tan?
Hi, yeah, I am currently in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So I'm sort of quite late at night, but I'm here. So yeah, good to be here.
And Woon and I met each other whilst he was still living in London during COVID. And then you went back home to Malaysia. So yeah, Woon, tell us a little bit about what's your global village? What is it?
Yeah, I think so. I'm here today because obviously today is World Mental Health Day and it's World Jenny's Day, right? And so I think, you know, when ANNELIZE sort of prepared the content for today's talk, right, this very short session, I think what we wanted to talk about was really around the art of business. And we wanted to talk about how your global village is a very different way of doing business and how we are using art to ensure mental well-being for entrepreneurs. So that's kind of the core idea on what we wanted to share today. So let me share a bit about what your global village is all about, right? And then we can also share screen at some point later. But really, the idea is that entrepreneurs are people who are possessed, right? And people who become entrepreneurs are possessed by an idea, and they pour their energy and passion and finances into turning that idea into reality. And getting to that dream come true moment is a journey that includes incredible highs and incredible lows. And this can be a very lonely journey. But with your global village, it's a brand new way of doing business where you can have your own virtual shop. But more than that, you are part of this tight-knit metaverse village community. So this is part of the sort of metaverse, if you haven't heard of this before. So I don't know if you can share the screen. That would be great.
It's on its way.
Are you able to share screen? Ooh, yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so this is really the metaverse, right? So might be a bit slow when it comes to loading the video, but if you could, so this is your global village, and this is kind of the drone view of what the village looks like. And really, when you're looking at this, right, being in business can be lonely when there's no one to commiserate with when you're struggling or trying to figure out your next step. But it is equally lonely when no one is there to celebrate your achievements or give you a pat on the back, right? So we need a village around you for that. And so this village design is drawing on the ideas of a medieval walled city. So if you walk through the protective gates, you feel safe inside. But these villages also enable people to create and prosper. And so wouldn't it be nice if business and the business community is also doing that, right? And so this is why in this village, we have 4 anchor shops anchor houses. And like these fortress gates, there are 16 individual shops in this village, and these are called merchant houses. And yeah, so this is how this village is set up, right? So how does this help mental well-being, right? And so your global village is a place where people can imagine themselves to be, and also it's not just it's a sort of 3D world, as you can see, and it's a fantasy world that is inviting, where everyone has a sense of belonging. And this is the village where others are not just looking out for each other, but also creating value. And so this community is united by design, but also held together through personal connection. So entrepreneur journey becomes a lot less lonely when you have this. So let's try and scroll down if we can. Right. So if you look at the this is kind of the map of the village, right? So as you can see, I mean, there are many different villages, and so let's try and go to if you sort of keep scrolling down, you'll see there's 16 different houses, 16 villages, and one thing that unites us as human is the need to be seen and heard, right? So not having that will compromise mental well-being. Again, we use the art of design to ensure everyone is seen and heard in your global village. So with us, you aren't just part of a collective, you get to own your identity. Imagine if you could step through the doors of each of these merchant houses. What would you see? Right? So each entrepreneur gets their own custom designed interior that tells their own unique brand story in 3 dimension. So let's take a look at one, right? So if you click on house number 6, podcast publishing, yeah, so this is actually my merchant house. So if it I don't know if it's loading, might take a while.
It's so interesting.
We have a similar one in Britain actually at the moment. And basically what they're doing is they're going from decade to decade. So they created it in the 1920s, and I think they're in the 1950s now. And each decade, people who belong to the village can actually redress themselves in the period of the dress as well. And the types of food and the types of experiences they would have gone in that decade is how they've developed this whole character as well. So it's very interesting.
So interesting. And Woon as well, just the actual, you know, the outside as well. It almost looks like, you know, you can thrive with nature as well. Lots of trees, and so that from a mental health perspective, obviously it's calm, it's hopeful, and people aren't alone. So yeah, I can really feel it.
Yeah, I think this is where the brilliance of Annelise comes in, because she really took the time and effort to help us design this whole environment. And this is actually the design inside podcast publishing, and you can see it's such a beautiful view. And the reason why this is designed in such a way is because for me, well, this is my village, and my sort of purpose is to make sure that people are always seen and heard, and being that helps people feel a sense of belonging, and that is kind of reflected in this environment. And so every design has a meaning. And for example, the meeting space are designed as pods with higher walls, so it creates less distraction. And so the meeting environment can ensure people are being listened to. So this is like a crucial thing that she picked up, having worked with me. And so this is how we sort of ended up with this particular space. Right. So we all know environment has a big impact on creativity, and by giving entrepreneurs an environment that reflects them and their brand story, it gives them a clear sort of identity and helps them become more creative. So the design actually helps us to focus and create a sort of a much more supportive environment.
Woo, now can I ask a question if it's okay?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was wondering, do you have your own avatar? Do you create your own avatar, or is the avatars already in that system?
No, so this is completely brand new in the sense that we will be creating our own avatar. So the only avatar that we have right now is really our own digital face. But it's actually, if you go back one page, you can see our faces. It's not quite a 3D avatar, but it's 2D at the moment. So there is an avatar.
It's fantastic. But also, one more question. I saw how beautiful furnished the houses were. Do you have to earn that by points, by, like you've got like Bitcoin and all this, is this certain, you have to earn it in that way? Just like normal life, really.
Yeah, I'll come to that token aspect later.
Yeah.
And if we actually, if you go to the impact house, I can share a bit more around how your question around the crypto and the sort of aspect, how that comes in, right? So this is obviously the whole Web3 approach, and this is very sort of timely in the sense this is kind of the trend right now, is to sort of create community currencies and sort of community tokens in the sense of a loyalty point. And so if you go to house number 5, if you scroll back up, the impact house, so that is actually the impact house, as it says. And so the crucial thing with this is that all the entrepreneurs in our community are very much impact focused, and so it is the soul of the village that directs us to ensure everything that happens in the village is linked to improving the quality of life of someone else in the world. So there aren't anything extra that we need to do, and so everything is baked into this, right? So if you attend an event, for instance, that's organized in this village, then you earn a leaf, and with this is essentially a token, and this token is linked to real world outcomes in the world. So we then go on to purchase a plastic waste brick that is used to help build a school. And so we've partnered with an organization called Classroom of Hope, an organization that harvests plastic waste in the environment and turns it into building blocks like Lego. And then we actually built a school. This is kind of a new technology, so we can build a school in a matter of days. And we support them by linking our time with sort of charitable giving, and in this case, helping to build a school. And so if you look at this particular image, this is a huge bronze sculpture in the middle of the impact house. And each quarter, at the end of each quarter, we will have a leaf party. And so each resident gets to hang the leaves that they have earned on that tree. So this is the end of quarter 3. So we're actually having our leaf party this week. So you can see, so we've added like 535 leaves in by the end of Q3. So we'll be celebrating that. So basically, it's not just a virtual environment. It has real outcomes for real people with real challenges. And so this is, and I don't know if we saw that earlier, but there's kind of a mural. So it also gets kind of painted as the village progress.
Wow.
I think those were kind of the key things that Annelize wanted me to convey in this talk. So I guess tying back into your question, Madeline, around the sort of currency and the tokens.
Thank you very much, Ruan, for sharing.
We were talking the other day as well about currencies at the moment, and there's talk now that the dollar is going to disappear next year, and that a new currency, a new global currency, is being looked at the moment. So basically, what you're seeing today in the metaverse, tomorrow you're going to see on the planet.
Yeah,
that's quite alarming.
Gosh, that's so fascinating. I love that explanation. I'm slightly a sort of a novice, I think, when it comes to metaverse and seeing all these. So it was lovely having you explain it. and show all the wonderful sort of well-being aspect of the whole place, which is amazing. I just love the nature and the water and the trees, and amazing. It looks like everything's been so thoroughly thought through. Very exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Jenetta has hers as well, and so she will have her merchant house, and there'll be a revealing party as well. So I'm quite looking forward to that one.
Wow. Can I just ask? Sorry, Jenetta, can I ask something? I saw a toilet with some butterflies. Is that yours? Is that, you're laughing? I think you're on mute. Have I said something wrong?
No, it's just it's one of the World Jenny's Day NFT pieces of art, and you saw my toilet with butterflies.
I didn't see it.
Helena, I know what you're talking about.
Very unusual. I thought, wow.
Well, what happened was I was in some sort of forum where we were talking about procrastination and how to deal. The one saying, I think procrastination is the best thing that can happen to us, provided you got the tools to balance it out and so on. And I found that my most creative and inspirational moments is when I'm trying to do something I really don't want to do, and I'm sitting there and I'll do anything but what I'm supposed to do, and suddenly cleaning the toilet becomes really attractive.
Oh my word.
Because it's much better than doing this thing I don't want to do. So the one day it happened, and I was putting toilet cleaner down, and it was blue and it ran out, and then I put pink down and went, oh my gosh, this is a work of art, because the two mixed together in the toilet bowl. So I took a picture, and then we adapted it so that it had these white graphic butterflies floating around it for World Jenny's Day. It's an NFT.
Good though.
Yeah. And well done, Helena, for spotting that. I didn't even spot that. I was just so with the plants and the water, but I didn't see that.
It wasn't on your global village, Helena. You've seen it on my LinkedIn.
That's right. Because I was thinking, did I miss? I wouldn't have missed a butterfly, a rainbow butterfly. I wouldn't miss it.
Wow. Well, if that's one of your pieces of art, I can't wait to see the rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should have really shown it today. Hey, Woon. Woon did the most wonderful NFT that was, well, 4 NFTs that was really, well, Woon, you quickly explain what your 4 NFTs for World Jenny's Day were.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually created last year as part of last year's World Jenny's Day, and actually it's still available if people want to buy it, right? I think it's a lot cheaper these days, but it's like because we priced it last year at last year's price. But you know, we were experimenting, we were sort of learning how NFTs work, right? So we created NFTs that were linked to actual sort of coaching programs, and so because most people didn't know. At least most people who were interested in what we were offering were not art collectors, but what we did was to tie in our expertise with an NFT, and I think that was a very interesting way of packaging our coaching and our services into an NFT. And so we kind of did the whole World Jenny's Days last year with lots of interesting art pieces, but also we had 4 pieces that were tied in specifically to 4 different mentors who were providing different sort of coaching programs, and that was essentially it. But I thought it was quite unique because we were seeing that this was a very very novel way of sort of packaging your product, but also doing it in a way that is kind of I guess much more cutting edge.
Wow, Woon, just so lovely to have you again. And you know, he's part of my village. And by the way, Madeleine, my village house is 18, which adds up to 9, and that wasn't contrived. Isn't that amazing? Because 7 and 9's with Jenny. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing, amazing. Woon, thank you for joining us today. And we'll talk again. And I'm so glad you were able to show Madeleine and Helena and Ian this, and the world, in actual fact. And I do hope...
I mean, I think definitely join one of our sort of events and come see when Jenetta is speaking. I'm sure Jenetta will be speaking in the village as well. And I think the village is such a unique space. So it's we definitely welcome more entrepreneurs in as we are growing the village as well. So yeah.
Can I just ask one thing, because I have no idea. How long does something like this take to build? I mean, I suppose from concept to all the intricacies to actually then developing it as we've seen it.
I think this is coming to 1 year since Annelize been putting this together, and obviously it sort of evolved over time, and there were a lot more elements to it that came together. So it wasn't just kind of from concept, it just got built. I think it took a long time, many different iterations, and many different contributors playing their part. And so it's a very collaborative approach.
Marvelous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Woon.
So
phenomenal. Global village. I'm moving in. It's better than my own place.
I promise you, it creates great camaraderie. And I haven't been in for very long, and already it's such a lovely feeling. And especially Annelize, she goes out of her way to go to think outside the box with you and for you. I love that. So Annelize BOOYSEN, so lovely. Look, there she is.
She's saying a message. Oh, thank you, Annelize.
Thank you for sharing your global village, Woon Tan.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okie dokie.
Leave you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
So, team, we have our next act before the top of the hour, and we're back to Kenya again. And this is a very interesting foundation that was introduced to me a few months ago, and I'm so mega impressed with them. Their name is ChezaChezaDance Foundation. Cheza means to play in Swahili, and they're based in the very enormous Kibera slum in Nairobi. And what they've done for children, marginalized children, is brought them in to teach them, give them dance classes that help them to express their emotions. And they very specially, we had 2 tech rehearsals. I tried to do as many tech rehearsals this week as I possibly could. And we had 2. And the very first one, because they're in tin shacks, there was a huge thunderstorm whilst they were trying to do this tech rehearsal. And we couldn't hear each other, and we had to do it again. So their conditions are not easy. The internet might not be that easy either. But I mean, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you ChezaChezaDance Foundation. Hello.
Hi, guys. Hey.
Thank you.
We want to do some dance for you guys before you even know more about us. So we hope you are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Very much. Yeah.
You can hear the music.
Yes.
Did you hear the music?
Yes. Yes.
Hello, did you hear the music?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Go ready.
Get so much feeling for this club, and then no one let me go. then no one let me go. Then no one let me go. I'm looking fire, carry cash, and I must to carry go. I must to carry go. I must to carry go. My God, the waka waka. Left and right to the beat waka. Instagram, don't finish data. Big nash, me I must to naka. My head, my neck, my waist. Boy, I still want that. I want that. My head, my neck, my waist. Boy, I still want that. I want that. My head, my neck, my waist. Boy, I still want that. I want that. Fatima dey do so, she dey cause go slow. The way that you move, you go be making man go. So wine I'm steady, I go rock I'm steady. The pocket heavy, don't go. Country with the big boys, so fine girl do the waka waka. Left and right to the big waka. Instagram don't finish data. Big nash, me I'm to naka. My head, my neck, my waist. Boy, I still want that. I want that. My head, my neck, my waist. Boy, I still want that. I want that. My head, my neck, my waist. Boy, I still want that. I want that.
Times that I've seen you lose your way, you're not in control, and you won't be told. All I can do to keep you safe is hold you close till you can breathe on your own. Till you can breathe on your own. Hold tight, you're slowly coming back to life. I've been giving you love, I've been giving you love, darling. Let go of all your haunted dreams tonight. I've been giving you love, I've been giving you love, darling. I've been giving you love, I've been giving you love, I've been giving you love, I've been giving you love. Place to lose control, you're not alone. And when you come looking for embrace, I know your soul. I'll be your home till you can breathe on your own. Till you can breathe on your own.
Get so much feeling for this club, and then no one let me go. Then no one let me go. Then no one let me go. I'm looking fire, carry cash, and I must to carry go. I must to carry go. I must to carry go.
Wow. That was amazing.
Yes, that was the
Oh,
show.
brilliant. Brilliant. I just,
Brilliant.
I mean, was it a mixture of like street dance, street style with a bit
We
of
can
contemporary
we cannot
dance?
hear you,
Oh, sorry.
Madalene.
You can't hear me?
Ah.
Oh. Oh, it's very
Can you hear
strange.
us?
We can't hear us.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us at all? No.
Can you hear us?
Let me see.
We'll keep talking. And
Yeah, we can see the expression.
Let's now. Oh, we absolutely loved it. That was so fantastic. It was actually so moving, I have to say as well.
I think this weekend I was at Africa Fashion Week, and there's so much creativity coming out of Africa now. It's absolutely amazing, African fashion, and that again is a real example of the exuberance of African people. And this is really catchy.
Really good.
I think what's impressed me is their coordination. They're dancing in a tiny shack, and that coordination, professional dancers just about die to try and make happen. And to me, that's so impressive.
Really,
they can't hear us.
Yeah, and the speed. Did you see the speed of the words doing?
I want to know what energy they've got. Is it in the water?
Really good. And it's so lovely.
Yeah,
as we know, moving your bodies, and it really impacts positively on the nervous system and just resilience in general. I'm sure, Jenetta, you know. So it's so lovely to see dancing, and also, you know, laughter as well when you're all together. You know, the camaraderie, and you can sort of feel it, can't you? You can feel the energy there. It's really quite infectious. It's beautiful.
I would have loved to have chatted to Franco a little bit more, because I think they very specifically move. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us now?
Yes, we
can you hear us?
Yay!
Yeah. So
yes.
I know that you teach this dance to the children to help them express their emotions. Do you have a forum where they are able to do that as well?
Like express the emotions?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like even having this opportunity right now, it's one of the ways of them expressing what they're feeling and expressing their attitude. But definitely we require more platforms. Those are the kind of opportunities that we're looking for the kids, where they can express this kind of emotions on what they're being taught in class. But that said, the life we live normally every day, it's one way of expressing what we feel. And when you are intelligent with your emotions and you know how to control your emotions and everything, that's how you can even live better with other people in the world. So just life itself, it's a big platform for them to express themselves as they live. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Wow.
Can I ask a question? What value do you think it gives to people in Kenya to actually do this type of dancing right now? You know, because do you face issues in your normal life, and dance is a way of really feeling valued?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's a big question itself. When talking of value, number one will be making sure everyone is equal as a value. That's it's a value at ChezaCheza, and not letting judging people because of where they come from, or because how they look, or because financial situation or economic wise. So that's one of the values that we believe here. And dance is a way of to keep ourselves moving, to keep ourselves still pushing on with the challenges that we face. because like for me, I was born here and raised in Kibera, and growing up, I really like faced a lot of challenges. And of course, not only me, we have like a whole team of educators who are also in the background there. I wish they had the time to like also express themselves, but dance saved my life, me personally, and I'm here talking to you guys. These kids are here right now because of that dance, and that keeps them away like from the challenges that they face, and those are things like getting into crimes, drug abuse, teenage pregnancies, and that's like a huge topic right now because like young girls who are still in school, like getting pregnant while still in school, but we are happy we have safe space for these kids. They're just like a fraction of us. We have 1,200 of them here at ChezaCheza. So yes, we like build the value of respect each other, and our like we have a curriculum that starts with knowing yourself first. You have to have the self discipline, honesty, and everything. Then the next module is now on like knowing how to interact with others. Those are things like empathy, things like knowing how to work with a team, things like which other ones? Conflict resolution. Then we have like the last part of our curriculum, which now talks of taking action. You know yourself, you know how to work with other people in your community. Now it's your time to take action, and you can be as innovative as you can, be as creative as you can. And I wish you could see the projects that some of these kids are having. They're amazing. And yeah, like they're really amazing. I wish one day you'll get a chance to see it. Yeah.
Franco, thank you so much for setting this up. I know what it took to make happen, because you had to sync your camera to your mic. We had a separation of camera and mic at one stage, which was causing havoc in our tech rehearsals. And you know, I just understand the conditions you work under there, and just bravo.
Yeah, I have to say.
Thank you. And all the them.
You are all so inspiring. You really are inspiring. Honestly, it just was fabulous. Thank you.
And you're great ambassadors for Africa.
Yes, yes, I was going to say, and you have great principles with your teaching of everything that you were saying, like self-conflict, action, integration, you know, interaction. Sorry, I think it's really key, valid points, and you put that into dance and expression. Love it. Exceptionally well done, and 1,000 students plus. That's amazing. ChezaChezaDance Foundation needs to go out and network. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
and
thank
you for being inspired. So because that's all that we needed. You getting inspired and being like challenged to continue changing the world in a positive way. So thank you so much.
You're amazing.
Let's ask one last question. How can people get in contact with you?
So how you can
did you hear that?
Yes, contacts.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing. So you can reach me through my email, which is francis@chezacheza. I'll put it on the chat. I don't know if you guys can see the chat. francis@ChezaChezaDance.org. I'll repeat again. francis@ChezaChezaDance.org or Cheryl@ChezaChezaDance.org. And also you can follow us on Instagram at ChezaChezaDance. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, we are all there. So yes.
Fabulous.
Great.
Excellent.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I'm speechless.
There we go.
Hey kids, you're amazing. Keep being amazing.
Okay,
we love you. We love you.
Asante sana wote. Tuonana baadaye. Asante sana.
Thank you. See you.
Wow, wasn't that amazing?
Really quite something. You know, heart opening and warming.
Well, I have to confess, if I don't get off this platform, I might just be like this, because I've been here 7 hours now, and Dr. Jacalyn's going to take over. But first, we're going to close off this hour and start the next, and say bye-bye, very sadly, to Helena and Ian, although Helen is coming back with a very special guest a little bit later, very special guest. But in the meantime, I'm going to hand over the reins to Dr. Jacalyn whilst I probably fall down off this chair. And to say, Helena and Ian, thank you so much for being here today. And to the people coming up, I won't be with you, but I'm going to be watching you, even if I'm lying down and watching things, because I'm just so appreciative of you being here and being part of making a difference today and starting these new conversations. Thank you for our performers coming up. I'm going off for an hour and then I'll be back to be with you all again. And Dr. Jacalyn, thank you so much as we hand over the hour.
Thank
Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hi, Dr. Jacalyn. You're on mute, my lovely.
Wow, I'm gonna have to do that all over again. How about that? I've been producing for 7 hours. I guess I'm a little tired. So welcome to World Jenny's Day as we continue this momentous occasion celebrating mental health wellness. We have people from all over the world who are joining us, and they are performing and sharing their talent and their passion to help other people step into the light so that we normalize conversations about depression and suicide and realize that we are not alone. Each and every one of us is here today and has a gift. And so my wonderful thanks and gratitude is to each and every one of you who are watching, who are commenting, and who are spreading the word that we are here for another 10 plus hours. So without further ado, I'd love to welcome my friend and co-host. Her name is Kim Adele Randall, and she is the wonderful star of Authentic Achievements. She's joining us from London. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Dr. Jacalyn. Thank you for having me here. It's great to be part of such an amazing day to really help, as you say, start normalizing those conversations and creating those safe spaces for people to be able to share how they feel and not feel judged by it.
Absolutely, Kim Adele. And as you know, as we work together every Friday, bringing forth stories, even our own stories of things that we've overcome. And as Jenetta says, you know, life is messy. Like I just messed up when I was on mute. These things happen, but we keep going on. So we've got a whole backstage filled with people who are ready to share their talent. Before we bring them out, you do such amazing work there with your own platform. Please tell us a little bit. I know from working with you and having you as a friend, you yourself have overcome incredible adversity. So if you would just give our audience a high-level overview of what you've been through and how you help people.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So I guess you're right. I mean, life never always goes to plan, or at least not to our plan. Often it goes to a plan that's been put there for us. You know, I've had plenty of life plot twists. I've had 3 divorces, a stalker, 3 life-threatening illnesses, 2 car accidents, a hurricane and a miscarriage. So there's certainly been opportunity to find my mental fitness pushed to the absolute limit. So I know how it can feel when you feel alone, when you feel like there's nobody that you can talk to, there's nobody that's going to be interested in your woes. But for me, I've been very fortunate. I've found ways through, and one of them is to find a space to talk to people. And that's really one of the drivers behind Authentic Achievements, which is to share with people other people's inspiring stories of how they've overcome the things that they didn't think were possible, in the hope that we can inspire other people to reach out, to just ask somebody for help, because there's lots of people out here that would just love to help you.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Kim Adele. It's so lovely to have you here for this hour. We've got our first guest coming up. Her name is Dianne Floyd Boehm, and I cannot say enough about this beautiful soul inside and out. Dianne is also one of our team members here at USA Global TV and Radio. And I just want to say, when Jenetta put out the call for people to come forward, our team stepped up. So without further ado, Dianne Floyd Boehm is an international award-winning children's and young adults book author. She has lived all over the world. She is the queen of networking, and she is another person who says yes every time. Let's welcome her to the show.
Hi, Dr. Jacqueline. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Dianne Floyd Boehm. I know that you are traveling, and I really appreciate you taking this time to be with us. You have published so many books that have all become award winners, and you have a new one that's just been released, and I know you're going to be doing a reading for us. Is that correct?
Yes, but not from that particular book because it's kind of long. So, but I've picked out a really good book that fits for today, and I'm excited to do that. So whenever you're ready.
Fantastic. Dianne, before you begin, tell our audience, why are you here today on World Mental Health Day, World Jenny's Day?
Sure, I'll be happy to. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm here because, you know, as an educator, you meet people from all walks of life, and you discover you really need to help people. And some of my students ended up further down the line, after they had even been out of my classroom, reached out to me just wanting some help. And I'm so glad and honored that they would even think of me. I remember one student was like, the doctor called and said, she's not going to talk to anyone else but you because you always made her feel so safe. And that's when I knew that I was really making a difference in the classroom. I mean, I always knew, but this was pretty powerful. And I really believe that people need to be more open to others. And you know, depression can happen to all of us, and we all have moments of it, and we need to realize someone needs to hold our hand when we need it. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Dianne. Please begin whenever you're ready.
Sure, I'll be happy to. So everyone, this is actually my very first children's book, The Little Girl in the Moon. And I thought it was really appropriate today because I wrote it because of seeing bullying in the classroom. So let's get started. The little girl in the moon was being tucked into bed when she asked, Mommy, when will people on Earth know that there's a little girl in the moon? And here's a picture of the snow and the little girl in the moon. Well, said the mommy, I never really thought about it before. Everyone has always been content that Earthlings enjoy to write and sing about the moon. We never really cared if the Earthlings knew we were here. And here's a picture of the moon over the water at night. So tell me, my little one, what would you want the Earth children to know about you? Asked the little girl in the moon's mommy. And here is imagination of where the little girl in the moon starts thinking. Well, the little girl in the moon began to think. Her mind was swirling around with ideas. Well, let me think. And after a few moments, she gave a big smile and said, Oh, I know. And here's a tiny bit at the beginning of what the little girl in the moon looks like. And there's a secret that is going to happen, and maybe you'll guess it as I continue to read. I would want them to know that I can swing just like them. And here's a little bit more of the little girl in the moon. What do you think is happening with those illustrations? Or maybe I want them to know I like to play with my friends just like them. And here's a little bit more of the moon and the little girl in the moon. Do you see the banana moon? I bet you do. Or maybe I would like them to know I like to read just like them. Now we can really see part of the little girl in the moon. Or maybe, I know. Maybe I would want them to know how I like to sing just like them. And even more of the little girl in the moon. I bet you caught on to those illustrations now. Or maybe I would like them to know that I am just like them, said the little girl in the moon. Here's a little bit more, and we almost have a full moon. But mostly, I dream about going to Earth like they dream about going to the moon. And here's the little girl in the moon. The mommy in the moon smiled and gave a good night kiss and whispered, "Sweet dreams, my little girl in the moon." "Night, Mommy, I love you," whispered the little girl in the moon. Now you might say, "Oh, she's so different." But what I want you to know, that's okay. Even if someone's different, they could be your very best friend. And we shouldn't judge people just because they're different, because most likely they're just like you, and you could have lots of fun with them. The end.
Oh, so lovely, Diane. I love how you change your voice. And as you know, Diane is a master storyteller, by the way, and she has such passion and conviction in everything that she does. That was stunning.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story. And you're so right. You know, I've got a little 5-year-old who, surprised, hasn't come and joined us yet today, which is such a shame because she would have loved that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. And you're right, you know, just because people are different, just gives us an opportunity to learn, and we can get to learn new things, try new experiences, and make great new friends.
Right, exactly. And you know, when you're in the classroom or anywhere and you meet someone that's a little different and you're like, I don't know, right? And even as adults, we go through that, and we have to remember that we don't know their story. Let's be open. And I think on World Jenny's Day, it's very important to embrace everybody.
Completely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Kim Adele, do you have any questions for Diane?
Oh, Diane, so many. I mean, you tell such insightful stories, and I think stories are such a way of connecting, aren't they? You know, it's relevant of our age, our race, our culture, our gender. We all teach and we all learn through stories. They are the common connector. We've been doing it back from cavemen drawings right through to today. So could you share with us how we could better use stories to help connect with people that are perhaps not feeling that connected right now?
Sure. You're absolutely right. Stories have been a part of human life ever since, right? Just like, did you go down the caveman and see the second artwork or whatever? How we can use stories is a powerful way, no matter if, like, you know, your child really doesn't want to take the medicine, let's say. And then you're like, okay, but you know, Monkey will take the medicine with you, and you get the syringe and you pretend Monkey's having, oh, look at that, Monkey's taking the medicine. And then the little kid's like, well, if Monkey's going to do it, I'll do it too, right? So just simple little things like that. And like in everyday life and work, when there's people that you just like, seriously, I am not in the mood to see that person today, but just maybe that person has a lot of things going on that you don't know about because you haven't taken the time to get to know them. So maybe at the water cooler, just share, did you see that football game today? I can't believe Texas slaughtered Oklahoma. That's a true story, by the way. And so it might start the beginning of a friendship. I don't know if that answers your question, but hopefully that helps.
Oh, it does. That's so helpful. And it's true, isn't it? So we never know what somebody else is going through. And that just reminded me, I was on the train not so long ago, and I saw this lady opposite who didn't look very happy. In fact, looked like she probably wanted to bite off anybody's head that went to talk to her. And part of me was like, I should just leave it alone, Kim, you know, just like tactical time out, stay where you are. But I thought, well, maybe if somebody just engaged with her, maybe if somebody just had a conversation, I wonder what would happen. And so I can't even remember what inane thing I started the conversation with, but I started it, and we went from kind of like just that initial not wanting to speak to each other to nattering away the whole time on the train. And we've become good friends. And she was having a really bad day, preparing for a really bad meeting that she was really dreading. And she said, you know, she phoned me later to say, you know, you made the day go better because you took the time to see and hear me. And that's what your stories have shared with us, isn't it? It's just take the time, like reach out, even if it's just to say hello, even if it's just to smile at somebody. You don't know the impact that's going to have, do you?
Yeah, that's a touching story. I almost went to tears. No, you're absolutely right. Just an act of kindness, right, can go a long way.
I love that.
It's
true.
Absolutely. It is so true. Dianne, you always light up this screen, this stage, and my heart. Thank you so much for being here. I know you have a really packed schedule for today, so thank you for taking the time to be here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's a wonderful thing that Jeanette's doing, and God bless all of y'all. Bye.
God bless you as well. And for people who are interested in purchasing your books, they can go over to your website, which is DianneFloydBame.com. And we also have it in the chat. So thank you again, Dianne. Enjoy the rest of your travels.
Thank you. Take care. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye for now. Well, it was lovely to see Dianne and listen to her master storytelling. We have someone backstage who is also a master at the art of voice, if you will. I met Chris Woodworth from Clubhouse. I'm not sure if it was the 529 Club or if it was just Clubhouse, and I've interviewed him I don't know, 2 or 3 times. I'm not really sure on this platform, but it's always a joy because he is so talented in so many ways. Kim Adele, you are going to be super excited. He's a voice actor. He's an impressionist. He's a content creator. He's all over social media. Let's welcome Chris Woodworth to the program. Hi, Chris.
Hello.
Chris.
Hi. Hey, how are you?
again.
Yeah, great to see you, Dr. Jacqueline. Yeah, wonderful day. I've been keeping in touch, just watching all of this wonderful performers and just fantastic messages, just very important discussion. So I've loved this day.
Well, thank you. And I'm just thrilled that you're here because you are so talented. I've watched the evolution. I haven't seen you in a little while, so I'm super excited because everything that you were doing already was super fantastic. But tell us, first of all, Chris, what is it about mental health awareness, Mental Health Day, World Jenny's Day that brings you here today?
I think it's something that needs to be just constantly addressed. One of the issues is that there are quite a few people out there that choose not to talk about it, that choose to suffer in silence. And there are certain people I've discovered of a particular generation that don't really see mental health as a thing. They start thinking back in their day or something. And I still remember one time when I had mental health struggles. and I was told by my elder friend, "Oh, come on, Chris, you're not dying," like that. So, come on, just get yourself together. It's that situation of somebody maybe saying, "Come on, man up." Yeah, but yeah, we go through struggles. We just need to address it, and I think that's what made me gravitate towards today when the Jenetta invited me to today, because I already knew her story. I'd spoken to her on Clubhouse, and we had like a very candid talk on Zoom as well about it. And yeah, how can I not say no to this? I'm just happy to be here and happy to be a part of it.
Fabulous. Thank you. I have a follow-up question. My question is, having met you on Clubhouse, maybe it was in 2020, I'm not really sure. How do you feel that that app has really helped you grow your network and the awareness of the work that you do?
Wow. I am not exaggerating when I say that even just joining that free audio networking app had changed my life, really. It really connected me with so many people around the world, and I actually, I mean, I've had like certain things like certain addictions before, like being addicted to movies, and even in lockdown I was addicted to the musical Hamilton and things like that. But this was like a new addiction. It was learning the amount of stuff that I actually learned from people when I wanted to get into voice acting, and I was just lapping this up, and I would sometimes be on it in unhealthy hours, but got that under control. And it really showed me that yes, there is a place for me in this industry. Well, there's a place for anybody who has a voice, really. But also, I could showcase what was different about me and my style, and I've made incredible friends and peers on there, and my network is constantly growing. It just spiraled, so it's incredible what is done.
Congratulations. That is super exciting. And Kim Adele, I'm going to ask you to save your questions for afterwards. I think Chris is going to perform. Is that right?
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I can do something for you.
Great. All right, here we go. Take it
Yeah.
away.
Okay, great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Chris Woodworth, and I am a voice actor slash impressionist slash content creator. You can find me on my social media platforms, just very randomly doing videos where myself and another fellow talented voice actor were revoicing a scene from like an animated movie. Thing about voice acting is that it's not all about being able to do like silly voices. A lot of voice actors don't. It's about being genuine, convincing, being able to really communicate your messages. And but my style, my niche, is animation. And growing up, I absolutely loved people like Robin Williams, who inspired me as well. And over time, when I started getting into voice acting and I started taking courses, I actually discovered my own unique voices and my own unique characters that I came up with as well. Like for instance, I could just use my natural voice, as a character, just kind of conversational, light, British and everything, but if I wanted to, I could kind of like switch it up, and kind of change into more of a Midwestern American accent, and if I maybe think of like a young hero that wants to save not just his village, but his planet, then, yeah, maybe I could make it just a little higher, so it's a little more young, like that. And imagine him addressing his people. He says like, we will fight for our world. They think they can bully us. No, that's not going to happen. There are more of us than there are of them. Like that. And yeah, but then there were other characters I could create. Like there's a super spy called Santiago, who's also a parent as well. He has children, and the thing about Santiago is that he also has more of a Latin background. I did this character where they asked me to do some sort of Spanish accents, and what I ended up looking at for help was a compilation video of Antonio Banderas, where I would get close to the mic and have a little sing-song, like a way of speaking a rhythm that a Spanish accent has, like that. And yeah, so he kind of meant business in a way. But then there would be like a very happy-go-lucky young turtle, maybe African American. His name's Ray, and yeah, the thing about Ray is that he every time he talks, a lot of what he says, it's like exuding positivity, and he's saying things like now I'm not saying now, but at some point we're going to have to find a mate, right? Like that, and it's all high and low and everything. And I still remember doing a poem on Clubhouse, like it was leading up to Christmas, and it was like a comical poem about how Santa Claus needs new reindeer. And it was the very last minute I made a decision not to read it in my voice. I thought, wouldn't it be fun if a panicky elf was actually doing this poem? So I came up with this very random, like elf type voice that I ended up using as a voice for Rudolph, and so he was a bit more like
Santa needs no reindeer. The first one has grown old. Dancy has arthritis. Comet hates the cold.
Like that. And I read the entire poem like that and just had this cuteness to it. But those are like the high-end voices. But then in terms of like going low, I read for a part for a giant it said that he was a giant with a heart of gold and his name was Flynn. So I remember just standing up, and I had to really get my shoulders back and I had to puff up my chest, and I kind of figured that okay, a giant, this will be quite different. I'll keep him quite British, a little bit dopey, but there's something very warm about him. He was like, a lot of people treat me different, but you are friendly. Would you be my friend? Yeah, make myself really big like that sort of way. But then there are the classic characters, like there's not all these like just friendly and adorable characters. Sometimes there are characters that you don't really feel safe around. Like if I wanted to be quite, I'd say, intimidating, or I guess just untrustworthy, otherworldly, and just quite sinister, sometimes I would get close to the microphone and I would just lower my tone and I would talk to you almost like we're in close proximity. And when have I ever given you a reason not to trust me? Like that, the intensity right there. But, coming up with these different voices, it kind of harped from growing up watching different Western type movies and American movies and cartoons. Growing up, I still remember some of the old movies back in the day I used to watch. They weren't all cartoons. They were live action. They were like Back to the Future.
Whoa, wait a minute, Doc. You mean to tell me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
That takes money. All we need to do is generate 1.21 gigawatts into the flux capacitor.
Like that. Turn the mic down. Don't want to peak it a little bit. But yeah, other than that, there was the classic characters, animated characters like well, actually before animated characters, I just have to say that E.T. the extraterrestrial, that movie at the end made me cry every single time. That classic line he says at the end, like, yeah, always gets me. But yeah, classic characters. Everyone loves Disney. So
that's why I kept going to Mickey Mouse, who's always light and airy and friendly and oh boy. And the thing about Mickey is that you got to use his catchphrases like oh boy and more shucks. Oh, that'll be something.
Like that. And I did Mickey Mouse for a friend's 2-year-old daughter one time, and she got very excited. And how could I say no to this cute little face, really? Because she started smiling and recognizing the voice and said, Minnie Mouse, Minnie Mouse. And I was thinking, okay, I have 1 or 2 friends who can do Minnie Mouse. How does Minnie Mouse sound? And I was thinking about it, and I just decided just to jump straight into it, see if I could reach that pitch. And her name was Maya, by the way. And I remember just kind of going,
Well, hi, Maya. Oh, you have a really cute smile.
like that. And yeah, it could just about get Minnie over Disney characters. If I pushed air into the corner of my my cheek, make this pocket, and like that. And yeah, I think one of the highest voices I can do in terms of impressions, I mean, aside from Minnie Mouse, is a character that embodies love. Everyone knows as
Elmo from Sesame Street, because Elmo is a cute little monster.
like that. And there's always Pixar movies. There's
Roz from Monsters Incorporated. And I have to squint my eyes when I talk like Roz. And I really pronounce my words and go slow because she's a slug. And I want to see paperwork on my desk tomorrow morning.
like that. If you altered Roz from Monsters Incorporated and you make it the tone a bit lower, and I still adopt those facial expressions, but maybe I talk more with my hand, I could
get Yago, the parrot from Aladdin, who was voiced by Gilbert Godfrey.
Like that. And yeah, that's one of my favorite voices to do because it's like he has anger issues. It's just so much fun doing eccentric characters like that. But aside from that, I always loved doing a couple of the British greats as well. Like
Sir Ian McKellen, who played Gandalf the Grey, Master Hobbit.
Or
Sir David Attenborough of planet Earth. The male lion leads the pride to service.
Like that. Those people can, those British greats can narrate anything. You just feel like you want to listen to them. And I think in terms of the very low voices, to end this though, because I could go on for so long, is like for instance very deep and tree-like Guardians of the Galaxy, like
I am Groot.
like that. And yeah, if I alter that a little bit and maybe go a little more alpha and not as friendly, seething. There's Caesar from Planet of the Apes who sounds like,
we did not start this war. Ape together, strong.
Well, like that. And yeah, everything in between. So I have to say,
it has been an absolute joy having you watch me do my crazy voices. This is World Jenny's Day.
Thank you.
Woo! Bravo, Chris. Outstanding. I don't even know how you know that many. Memorize. I don't even know. It's incredible. Even
there
better
are
than
a heck of a lot more.
I'm equally glad my little girl hasn't come down yet, because she will be even more mortified with Mummy's inability. So I can do one other voice, which is the voice of her teddy bear. It's also the voice of our dog. And for my friends' children, which range, my little girl's 5, my friends' children and my nieces and nephews range all the way up to 22, and their toys all have the same voice as well, because it's the only voice I knew how to do. So when I now hear them to Scarlett with about Lenny, and they're like, isn't that like Trevor Donkey? I'm like, shh, don't tell her.
Oh my goodness. Did they start picking away?
So how do you learn how to do different voices? How do you start?
It's you know what, it's one of those questions that's it's actually quite difficult to answer. I mean, what I'd say that what I did, I just became a fan of certain characters, just hearing them, and I found that when I was starting to do voices, I actually just did them as a quirk, a random quirk I had, and they would come out when I was in a funny mood. Still remember at university just hanging out with my friends, and I think we were just talking about The Simpsons or something. And for some reason, when I thought of Krusty the Clown, and I'd seen a voice actor actually do Krusty the Clown and how eccentric he is, because I was in a silly mood, I just removed all shyness, and I went for it. And I actually discovered that well, what came out was,
Hey, kids, stay tuned for another show, Itchy and Scratchy.
like that. And I wasn't even thinking about it, but it was only later that I ended up breaking it down. Like, how the heck did that work? And I discovered that quite a few people out there, they say, I can't do an impression or an accent to save my life. But those same people, they discover that they can when they do get into a silly mood. And that's what it's all about, getting out of your head and harnessing your inner crazy.
I love that. So, and that's so true in so many things, isn't it? We get stuck in our head and we get fearful of our projected fear of what other people are going to think about us. And yet when we get past that, we just like go out there and go, what's the worst that can happen? Then actually we find we can do a lot more than we thought we can.
Absolutely. I was actually had a discussion with one of my voice acting teachers not long ago. I think it was on Friday. I was interviewed for a podcast along with 3 other voice actors, and one of the things I brought up was, well, I'm very active on TikTok, and they knew full well that I had one particular video that went viral, and it was another voice actor and I revoicing a scene from Tarzan. And nobody really expects anything they do to go viral, and I don't really look for anything to blow up like that. And when I found that this was going viral, and it's like over 2 million views currently, and it's still growing, I didn't like really get excited. I got kind of overwhelmed, but I knew what was going to happen. I just simply told myself, brace for impact, because this has now opened you up to the whole world, and you're going to have quite a lot of people put comments that are just going to try and mess with you, and try and make fun of you for what you do or how crazy you look when you do this. And luckily, I had arrived at a point in my life where I was more stable in myself as a person. So from there, I took it upon myself to talk to the content creators and my fellow voice actors who do struggle with that and are terrified of trolls. Therefore, they are holding back from showing people who they really are. And I think that's important. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, I just celebrate you and that latest success that you just shared. I wish you every happiness and continued success. It's been an honor having you here today.
It's been a joy.
Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure. Yeah, nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah, and you take care.
Thank you again. Take care. Bye.
Wow.
Well, Kim Adele, he's amazing. I mean, it's just, we have 2 other people backstage who are also slotted for this hour. And I have to say, I don't know either of our 2 next guests, but the next guest that we have is also a master of the voice, if you will, in a different way. And GWENNO is a global leadership and master public speaking coach and has been a professional broadcaster, a performer, and is also a singer. I'm going to give an attempt to say her last name, GWENNO DAFYDD. Come on out and join us. How'd I do?
Okay, thank you. Oh, there I am. Okay. Well tried. It's David, in fact, and everybody has problems with saying my name. So don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah, it's a joy to be here today. And it was really interesting to listen to Chris doing all those voices. I've done quite a bit of voiceover work in the past, but I don't do any anymore. I'm too busy doing other things, really. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I saw your LinkedIn that you have been helping people master public speaking, I think for 39 years.
No, I haven't been doing that for 39 years, but I've been doing the performing for well over 39 years, a long, long time, over 39 years. But I've been working really with lots of different people on lots of different projects. And the public speaking coaching, I have been doing that for quite a few years now, and I get quite a lot of success, and I'm delighted really, because I help people to get into positions that they might not have got to because they were too self-conscious, they really had glossophobia, which is fear of public speaking. And I've just recently, just now, I've been working with someone who's trying for a post as a chief executive. And essentially, she is, we've had a few coaching sessions, and she's just told me now that she's in the running, and it's just between her and another person. So that's the sort of thing I do, but I do all sorts of things really. Every single day is different. And I love the variety that I have in my life. I love it.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know you're going to perform for us today, but I do have a question. Is the fear of public speaking always or usually accompanied by a fear of public singing?
No, I don't deal with people who are scared of singing. Either you want to do it or you don't. Basically, I've been singing since I was about 5 in public, and I absolutely love it. But if that's one of the things that you don't always have to do in life, whereas you always have to present yourself in public, whether that's in networking, in interviews, in positions where you're doing presentations. A lot of people have to do that in their professional lives, whereas it's a choice to go and sing in public. And a lot of people will say, oh, I can't do it, so they don't do it. You know, most people, if they want to sing, the starting point for them would be to sing with a choir. I've sung with choirs throughout my life. I still sing with a choir, and it's a great way to actually build a lovely community all around yourself. So, you know, it's not just about the singing or the performing. It's about being part of a community, really, more than anything. So, yeah, I'm all in favor of choirs. I'm all in favor of singing because it builds your confidence. It builds friendships. It improves your lung capacity. Get out there and join a choir if you want to sing.
Thank you. And it's also tied to mental health wellness, isn't it? When you feel confident about being able to express yourself.
Oh, indeed. But I think the most important element of singing in a choir is to actually be with that community of like-minded people and to do something that you feel you're all involved with. But also the friendships that I've had through singing in choirs have lasted me my entire life. And they will, because it's such it's something that is very, very bonding. So, and we go on trips together. We've been on amazing trips. I've been to New York with a choir, France, all sorts of places really. So it's the friendship element as well, that you're all building something really powerful together. And the concerts, they're all great.
Brilliant. Thank you. I know, Kim Adele, you'll have some questions, but Gwenno, would you like to perform for us?
I will. I'm going to put my glasses on because I can't see what I'm doing technically, okay? So we give it a bash and see what happens. So, okay. Dewr doeth a doedd dewi ei ddwylo yn iachau. Gwnaeth ef y pethau bachau daioni roedd yn hau. Felly dathlwch y dydd i dewi, arwr y Cymru i gyd. Heidiwch i'r cwch fel gwennu, be bynnag yn y byd. Cenwch y clychau dewi, cenwch nhw mewn coffad. Cenwch y clychau yn uwch ac yn uwch, cenwch nhw ar hyd y wlad. Flachiodd mellt, gwyllt fel cyllyll, a hollti'r graig yn ddwy. Ar ddydd ei un faban, dioddefni fydd mwy. Felly, dathlwch y dydd i dewi, arwr y Cymru i gyd. Heidiwch i'r cwch fel gwennu, le gan y byd. Cenwch y clychau dewi, cenwch nhw mewn coffhad. Cenwch y clychau yn uwch ac yn uwch, cenwch nhw ar hyd y wlad. Daeth y dor y fil yn fewi cyn chanu'r ceilio croch. Tir llwnd yn draed a gododd a'i lais yn glir fel cloch. Felly dathlwch y dydd i dewi, arwr y Cymru i gyd. Heidiwch i'r cwch fel gwenu, ble bynnag yn y byd. Cenwch y clychau dewi, cenwch nhw mewn coffhad. Cenwch y clychau yn uwch ac yn uwch, cenwch nhw ar hyd y wlad, a wlad. Cenwch y clychau dewi, cenwch nhw mewn coffhad. Cenwch y clychau yn uwch ac yn uwch, cenwch nhw ar hyd y wlad. Now that was, thank you very much. That was the St. David's Day anthem. Wait, oh, hang on. No, stop that now. Hang on. Stop. That was the St. David's Day anthem, which I have co-written with someone called Haylwen Thomas. Now I'm going to, and that's called the St. David's Day anthem. So that's the anthem for St. David's Day, which is our patron saint in Wales. So I'm very proud of that. Now I'm going to sing something out of my one-woman show about the French singer Edith Piaf. So I'm going to put this on here, and this is called Je ne regrette rien. Rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. C'est pelé, balayé, oublié, je m'en fous de passer avec mes souvenirs. J'ai allumé le feu, mes chagrins, mes plaisirs. Je n'ai plus besoin de balayer mes amours avec le trémolo, balayer pour toujours. Je repars à zéro. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait et le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Oh, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien, car ma vie, car mes joies d'aujourd'hui, ça commence avec toi. Thank you very much. I'm going to switch this off now. There we go. And I'll get back in here. Hello then. Yes, there we go.
Hi. That was
Hello.
fantastic. I love your voice.
Thank you. Thank you. So there you go.
So you mentioned you've been singing for a very long time. You obviously are very passionate about it.
Oh, I love singing. It's my lifeblood. I love it. I really do. It makes me happy. And when I'm depressed or sad or lonely or whatever, I find it really hard to find my voice. My brother died at the age of 23 of Hodgkin's disease. And I couldn't sing for a very long time after that. So I know that there's a huge connection between my emotions and my ability to be able to sing. So, you know, and it brings me great joy. And when I've touched people when I've sung, and so that to me is wonderful, and it's a gift. I'm very lucky that I have that gift. So not everybody likes my voice, but I don't care.
I love it.
I love it. And Gwenno, lovely to see you again. And thank you for sharing. Just an amazing voice, and I love that you so epitomise that piece of saying, like, you know, it kind of comes from within, doesn't it? So whatever we're feeling kind of comes out in how we show up, and I imagine therefore, is it something that you use to express a lot of emotion?
I do, yeah. But my way of actually expressing emotion is I go for a run, and I love to run, because for me that's my you know, if we're talking about well-being, etc., running has always been my go-to release. So, and actually I get rid of a lot of anxiety, stress, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. I've been a runner since I was 11. So for me, that's my go-to drug of choice, really. But singing again, and the other thing I like to do is I like to make people laugh. I love making people laugh. I think laughter is one of the most wonderful things in life. And whilst I'm here, can I give my book a little plug? I didn't tell you I've written a book. I've written a book which is called Stand Up and Sock It to Them, Sister, Funny Feisty Females. And I interviewed 94 people throughout the world, including 65 women who do stand-up comedy. And comedy for me is a huge release of tension, of stress, I have to say that I did 2 comedy courses a week throughout COVID, and that was the thing that kept me sane. And you know, we had to write, but there was a wonderful community of people who became friends, and so we all have our own ways of combating stress, of finding our ways of getting to our wellness path. And those are some of the things that I find are really important. Laughter, singing, being in a community, and friendships, and what did I forget? Running. Did I forget running? Exercise, obviously. I love to run. I love to swim in the sea. I love to cycle on my bike. I love to body surf. I love to do all those things because they give me a really boost of serotonin, which is what we need.
Amazing.
I love your curiosity. You're just go for it. And where can people get your book, by the way?
Well, you can get it on Amazon, and you can also get it. You can get it in the States, but if you get in touch with me, I'm also selling them. So you've got my details there. So I can post them in Britain if people are interested, and then we can make some sort of. I'm thinking of actually making it available online, because that is easier than posting it to people. And then, but I'm in the process of doing quite a lot of things at the moment, including selling a house, emptying a house, buying a house, and I started a brand new job this week. So basically there's just too much happening. But can I tell you about the new role that I started? And because this day is all about mental wellness, I've just started a new role as a wellbeing facilitator in film and television, and it brings all the different strands of my working life together. And I feel passionate about doing this because the statistics for mental unwellness in the creative industries is horrendous. The levels of suicide or death by suicide are just awful. And I think it's because creative people are more sensitive, and not only are they more sensitive to the ability to be creative, but they're also more sensitive to everything else, and wars affect them in a different way to people who are not as creative. All the things that are happening in day-to-day lives. I think people who are really creative get affected in a different way. So I will be there on film and television sets to make sure that people's mental health is cared for, that bullying, harassment is not allowed to continue. And so I'm there to be basically their anti-GWENNO, their bad cop, good cop, and agony aunt. So I'm a combination of all those factors. So I'm very excited about this new part of my life.
Amazing. Amazing.
Congratulations on all your success and on your just love of life. It's so evident and it comes through. And I really appreciate you being here on this platform today and sharing your gifts with us.
Well, thank you. It's been a joy. And thank you for having me. I think it's a really important event. And I like to think that maybe I'll get invited back next year.
Yes, you will. Absolutely. Thank you again, GWENNO, for being here. We really appreciate it.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Take care now. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye for now. We have another guest who's performing in this hour, and this is also a person I have not met yet. I'm very excited. The name this person goes by is AirCat, AIRCAT. And AirCat is a very well-known presenter and pianist on the audio app Clubhouse. So AirCat, will you please come and join us?
Yes. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, hello. Hello, Kim. Hello, Joyce. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you. Will we be on video today?
Sorry?
Will we be seeing you on video?
My webcam doesn't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will you be performing for us now?
Yes.
Okay. You have the stage.
All right.
That was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Kim Adele, I'm getting some feedback over to you.
Sorry? Sorry, what you say? I can't hear you.
So just saying how to use thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I apologize. I think we're getting a lot of feedback from the connection. So Aircat, that was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your talents and your gifts with us here on World Jenny's Day. We really do appreciate it. If you can please put your contact information in the chat, we would love to have people be able to contact you and work with you, collaborate, and also enjoy your music. Okay, thank you. All right, Kim Adele, believe it or not, we are at the top of the hour and the end of our segment. This is our second episode for today. We've got 2 more episodes. So for any of you who are out there watching or listening, we will be closing out this particular episode. You can stay wherever you are. And then Jenetta will be coming back with the 3rd episode, which is a different broadcast studio. So everybody, you stay where you are. We're going to close this out and go over to the other studio. Kim Adele, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here today, taking the time and joining me. Thank you
Thank you for having me and allowing me to be part of such an amazing day and to be being part of raising awareness. Thank you.
Thank you. And please do join Kim Adele and myself on Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern time, which is 2 p.m. British Summer Time for Authentic Achievements. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.